Chapter 290. Because it's an emergency, even if you register later, we will see the doctor first. The hospital is not as dark as you think. The doctor adjusted his glasses and explained to Li Fan. This action reminded Li Fan of Little Four. But, today's matter. Forgive me for being nosy, but you shouldn't interfere. Why shouldn't I interfere? Li Fan was a little surprised. It's already like this, shouldn't I do something about it? You look like you're still in school. In Li Fan's eyes, there was still a bit of childishness that hadn't faded. Yeah, what's wrong? Are you afraid that I'll be bullied because I'm young? I can see that you should have practiced martial arts. The doctor wore a big mask and couldn't see what he looked like, but his eyes were quite deep. He looked at Li Fan with an unfathomable gaze. Yes. Li Fan didn't hide it and nodded to admit it. That's right. The doctor nodded. Those people really don't dare to bully you, but let me ask you, can you stay here every day? Impossible, I still have to go to school. How could Li Fan stay in the hospital every day? He was not a doctor. Yeah, you can't stay here every day. After all, you have to go to school, and later go to college and other cities. Said the doctor. You can manage for one day, but not forever. Those scalpers will hide from you today, and tomorrow when you're gone, they'll come again. They make a living out of it, and this is their career. If you manage it today, they'll hide for a few days and earn less money for a few days. When they come again, the price of this scalper might rise again. At that time, what can you do to help? Shouldn't I be able to manage this kind of thing? Li Fan said with some dissatisfaction. If everyone doesn't manage it, will this kind of thing ever end? This is a problem of society itself. Of course we should manage it, but you shouldn't. The doctor dropped this sentence and looked at his watch. It's time for me to get off work. I won't tell you more. You're a very interesting person. I look forward to our next meeting. Huh? Aren't you going to treat him? Li Fan was a little surprised. The doctor said as he walked. Someone will help me deal with it. I still have a lawsuit to fight, so I'll be leaving first. Looking at the doctor's retreating footsteps, Li Fan wondered if his big brother was sick. He was a doctor. Why would he fight a lawsuit? Was he supposed to be a part-time lawyer? Li Fan shook his head and put the matter of the doctor aside. At this time, the door of the treatment room was pushed open again, and another doctor and nurse came out. One of them took off his mask and said to Li Fan, "Is he the patient's family?" "Yes, how is she?" Li Fan was very worried about Liao Wushuang. He hoped that nothing bad would happen to her. Otherwise, he would regret it for the rest of his life. The wound has been treated. He's out of danger, but he has a mild fever. The doctor said, "You have to be hospitalized for observation for 2 days. Remember to go through the hospitalization procedures." "Oh, okay, I'll go in a bit." Li Fan felt relieved. As long as Liao Wushuang was fine, everything was fine. Li Fan didn't have time to go through the hospitalization procedures. He walked into the ward first. Liao Wushuang's face was pale, without any color. She was lying on the bed like a sick woman. Even if she was sick, she was still so beautiful. Women, when they were beautiful, they could really be deadly. Li Fan tiptoed to Liao Wushuang's side. His qigong was excellent, so he didn't make any sound. He was worried that he would wake Liao Wushuang up. Unexpectedly, when he walked to Liao Wushuang's bedside, she suddenly opened her eyes and looked at Li Fan. "You're awake." Li Fan was a little annoyed that he still woke her up. "I'm a little sad." Liao Wushuang gently pouted and said, "I'm sorry that you got hurt." "No." Liao Wushuang gently shook her head, "I'm just worried. I can't wear clothes that expose my navel in the future." Li Fan was quite speechless. At this time, she was still thinking about beautiful things. "Are you in pain?" "Yes." "Why don't you say it's painful?" "It's painful even if I say it." Liao Wushuang's words made Li Fan unable to refute, as if he was being particularly unreasonable. "I'm really sorry, today is my birthday, but I made you suffer so much." Li Fan was still very annoyed. Liao Wushuang originally had nothing to do with these things, but she was forcibly involved, and on his birthday. There was no worse birthday than this. Li Fan smiled bitterly. Liao Wushuang raised her hand and gently pinched the corner of Li Fan's mouth. Don't smile bitterly, it's so ugly, I'm not dead. It's better for me to get hurt for you, anyway, I'm used to it. Looking at Liao Wushuang's weak appearance, Li Fan's heart was somewhat distressed. A beautiful woman actually had to suffer like this. It's okay. It just happened to be on my appendix. Liao Wushuang winked at Li Fan, but my appendix was removed. At this time, Liao Wushuang could still joke with him. I'll help you with the hospitalization procedures. Li Fan decided to go out and calm down. Since Liao Wushuang was fine, he was relieved. Don't go. Liao Wushuang suddenly pulled Li Fan's hand. What's wrong? You. Stay with me for a while. But I have to go through the hospitalization procedures. You can wait for a while. What's wrong? Are you afraid of being alone? No. Maybe because I was stabbed, my heart is a little empty. Li Fan felt that Liao Wushuang was like a child at this time, so he had no choice but to take her hand and sit on her bedside. I want you to tell me a story. Liao Wushuang's habit came again, causing Li Fan to have a headache. Once upon a time, there was a mountain, and there was a temple on the mountain. The story is so cliché. There was an old monk in the temple who didn't wear a condom. This time, it was Liao Wushuang's turn to be speechless. Can't you tell a serious story? I'm just that frivolous. Li Fan winked, making Liao Wushuang laugh. Ouch, don't make me laugh, the wound is splitting open. Is that so? Then I won't tell you a story, I'll tell you a joke. Liao Wushuang was so angry that she wanted to hit Li Fan, but she didn't have the strength. If you can't tell a story, then sing me a song. Ah! Li Fan saw there were other patients in the room and was a bit embarrassed. Teacher Liao. This is not good. I don't care, I want to listen to a song. When Liao Wushuang's childish temper came out, she couldn't stop it. Are you going to sing or not? Chapter 291. Sing, sing. Li Fan hurriedly nodded. How could he not sing? He couldn't care less about the others. Although there were a few patients around, he would just pretend that they didn't exist. Everyone, if I don't sing well, I'll offend you. Sing quickly. I want to listen, Liao Wushuang urged. Okay. Then don't be scared away by me. I can't run away like this. Okay. Li Fan cleared his throat and then recalled the few songs in his memory. Under Liao Wushuang's expectant eyes, he opened his mouth and sang Huang Pingguan's No Lock. When singing, Li Fan's voice subconsciously carried a little true qi, making his voice more mellow and full of an indescribable charm. Although there didn't seem to be anything special when listening to it. But after listening for a while, he felt that it was more and more interesting, as if he was deeply attracted by this voice. Li Fan's voice carried a kind of power that could cleanse people's souls. Originally, the ward was noisy, some people were noisy, some people were noisy, and some people were crying on the patients' bodies. However, as Li Fan's voice spread out, the surroundings slowly quieted down. They all looked at him, and their eyes began to become a little blurred, as if they had forgotten their own feelings. Happiness, anger, sorrow, and joy, at this moment, were all gone. This feeling seemed really good. A soul singer. After Li Fan finished singing, even Liao Wushuang was a little stunned. Is it because the singing is a bit awful? Li Fan asked with some embarrassment. Good. Super good. Liao Wushuang was a little addicted. Sing another song. Teacher Liao, I'm not a KTV. Sing another song. I'm a poor patient. Liao Wushuang looked at Li Fan pitifully, her eyes could melt Li Fan. Okay, I'll sing another song. Li Fan had no choice but to agree, and then sang Zhong Xinjia's Too Hot. Li Fan didn't know much about trends, so he sang some old songs. But these songs, together with his unique voice, deeply attracted the people around him. There was a wounded man who had one of his legs amputated. His face was filled with despair. But as Li Fan sang, his expression slowly became relaxed, as if he had forgotten his own pain. After Li Fan finished singing, before Liao Wushuang could say anything, the people around him had already started shouting first. One more song. One more song. Li Fan was stunned. What's the situation? I'm not here to hold a concert in the hospital. But for some reason, Liao Wushuang pouted. "You're not allowed to sing anymore." "Ah, why?" "Because you're only allowed to sing to me." Although Liao Wushuang's words were a bit overbearing, Li Fan didn't know why he was happy to hear it. Could it be that all men were born with a despicable nature? "Then I'll stop singing." "Are you hungry? Are you thirsty?" Although it's a taboo now, he couldn't stop Liao Wushuang from eating. Li Fan felt that the two of them seemed to be reversed. A few days ago, Liao Wushuang was still taking care of him in the hospital, but now, he was the one taking care of her. If Murong Ying, that vinegar jar, knew about this, she would definitely explode. Li Fan suddenly felt a chill. At this time, it's better not to think about that woman. He was only here to take care of Teacher Liao because he caused her to be injured. That's right, that's it. This is the purest revolutionary comradeship. I'm not hungry, just a little thirsty. But I can't drink water now. Instead, Liao Wushuang reminded Li Fan, "It will take a while. Now, we can only endure it, so don't be greedy for me." "Okay." Li Fan had to sit by Liao Wushuang's bed. At this time, the patients next to him were begging. "My friend, please sing another song. Sing another song. Can I buy a song? Can you sing a song like a star?" Li Fan's face was full of black lines. Do these people really think of me as a star? Enough, he's not a singer. Liao Wushuang was crying injustice for Li Fan. "Just sing one song." The amputee patient wiped his tears of excitement. "I was going to commit suicide, but this little brother's singing awakened my new life ideal. Please sing one more song, please." He was almost begging. Li Fan really had no choice but to say, "Okay, then sing one more song." "All right then, let's sing one more song. It's really the last one." Okay, thank you. Thank you so much." The patients all cheered, which made Li Fan have the illusion that he was a big star. He really didn't think that his singing was good. In the past, when he sang in KTV, there was no response. Why was it so attractive today? Li Fan cleared his throat again and casually sang Chen Guanpu's Too Much. This time, many patients shed tears of excitement, as if Li Fan's voice could knock on their hearts. Li Fan didn't know that because his voice was filled with true qi, it had a unique effect of demonic sound entering the brain. Anyone who listened to his singing would be moved by his unique true qi voice. Outside the door, a young nurse angrily pushed the door. "Who told you to sing in the ward?" She was originally urging a patient named Li Fan to go through the hospitalization procedures. Unexpectedly, when she arrived at the door of the ward, she heard someone singing. Silence must be maintained in the hospital. This was the most basic rule. She was about to reprimand but was attracted by the singing. "My God, those famous singers that I like, can't sing such a beautiful voice." For a time, even the nurse was fascinated by it. After Li Fan finished singing, everyone was still immersed in the intoxication and didn't want to wake up. "Li Fan, don't practice martial arts. Go be a singer." Liao Wushuang sincerely suggested to Li Fan, "You will definitely become famous." "That won't do. I do want to be famous, but being a singer is not my pursuit. I want to pursue a more exciting life." Li Fan blinked his eyes at Liao Wushuang. "That, sir." The young nurse timidly walked to Li Fan's side. "What's wrong?" You have to go through the hospitalization procedures." "Oh, okay." Li Fan just remembered that this matter hasn't been done yet. "Come back quickly," Liao Wushuang urged. "I know, I will come back as soon as possible." Although Li Fan wanted to be fast, the hospital procedures were very complicated. When he finished and returned to the ward, Liao Wushuang was already asleep. Li Fan didn't wake her up and just sat next to Liao Wushuang's bed. He reached out and touched Liao Wushuang's forehead. She still had a low fever. The doctor said that she would be fine after her fever completely subsided. During this period, she can't be alone. Chapter 292. Li Fan stayed by Liao Wushuang's bedside for 2 days and 2 nights. In these 2 days and 2 nights, he almost didn't sleep and kept busy. 2 days later, Liao Wushuang was finally discharged from the hospital and returned to her home. There was a full-time nanny to take care of her. Even if Li Fan wanted to accompany her for a few more days, his work didn't allow it. And that strange doctor, Li Fan never met again. At this moment, Li Fan was preparing other things, but Huang Lei was sitting naked in the public bathroom with a blue and yellow towel on his shoulder. Phew! It's so comfortable. Huang Lei let out a long breath and blended into the steaming hot air. Unfortunately, there is no special service here, otherwise it would be better. Huang Lei slowly stood up and splashed water on his body. A lot of men looked at his lower body and couldn't help but envy and hate him. Fuck, what the hell is with this man? That thing down there is too big. Dad. A little boy next to him pulled his father. Why is that man's penis so big? And why is ours so small? Shut up. As a father, he couldn't hold his face anymore and beat his son. The child cried non-stop, but Huang Lei was proud of himself. This thing is the only thing that he can be proud of. At this time, a somewhat thin man came over, holding a yellow and blue towel in his hand. He walked to Huang Lei's back and asked tentatively, "Big brother, do you want a back rub? How much? $9.99. Give Big brother a discount, just give me 88%. Oh, okay, then give me a rub, just rub my back, don't rub my chest, okay? Look at that." The messy conversation between the two of them was actually a secret signal to realize their relationship. Huang Lei sat on the edge of the bathtub, and the young man stood behind him, diligently rubbing his back. "Brother Lei, you've been doing well recently." The two people finally began to talk seriously, but their voices were very low. "It's all right. I'm just following my big brother to make a living. Boss Li has also become quite famous recently." The skinny guy rubbed his back as he said enviously, "I heard that even Hu Yang's men were chased away. How awesome. Of course. What kind of person is my big brother? Although Hu Yang has some foundation, how can he compare to my big brother?" Huang Lei said proudly, "My big brother is the person who broke through the black boxing ring. His fists were invincible. The current martial arts world even gave my big brother a nickname, Little Overlord. Did you hear that? Little Tyrant. How awesome." The skinny guy thought to himself, "Isn't that the name of the game console?" However, these words only circled around in his stomach, and he didn't say it out loud. "Sigh, it would be great if I could follow Boss Li in your dreams. My big brother doesn't accept other underlings." Huang Lei immediately put an end to this fellow's thoughts. "What do you think your master will think if you run over here?" "That's true. Brother Lei, you've thought it through. Of course. Remember, your brother Lei is not just a big dick. Do you understand?" "I understand, Brother Lei. Speaking of which, Brother Lei, how did your lower body grow? Isn't it too scary?" "Why? Do you want to test its power?" "I'll tell you. It hasn't eaten meat for a long time. Now it doesn't even need meat. Ayo. Brother Lei, don't scare me. I'm timid but my anus is big. You won't feel good playing with me, stop talking nonsense. Let's get down to business." Huang Lei said snappily, "This is a very simple scene. Your brother Lei needs to find a place to calm down. If you don't want to have sex, then get down to business. All right." These words made the skinny guy's anus tighten. He hurriedly got down to business. Tomorrow night, the deputy leader of the yellow-clothed group, Wang Baiqiang, wants to negotiate with the young master of the vanguard group, Yang Ruining. Our master said that he wants to see the two of them fight. Oh, that's the matter. Yes, that's the matter. I've put the address in cabinet number 15. This is the key. Brother Lei, go get it later. If I take your key, are you going to go out naked? Wouldn't that be acting like a hooligan? Brother Lei, don't worry. I've put my clothes in my partner's cabinet. Huang Lei noticed that there were two people taking a bath nearby. Their eyes were sneakily glancing around from time to time. My goodness. This Fu Fan is really careful. He sent people here to meet with me. He even chose two people to watch over me. Rub to the left. Yes, that's it. Then Brother Lei. Can I accept it? Fuck, your Brother Lei, when am I not hard? You really don't know how to talk. Yes, I'm wrong. Brother Lei, don't take it to heart. I'm an idiot. Huang Lei rolled his eyes. Whether this matter succeeds or not, there's no use talking about other things. Money is number one. 500,000 in cash. The skinny guy immediately said, "It's all in the cabinet." "Isn't your master a little stingy?" Huang Lei frowned. "Who are you kidding with such little money? We have a big family here to support. We've prepared 3 experts. Which one of them isn't a master? Which one of them doesn't cost money? Among the 3 of us, my big brother is the most frugal. He's still in school and keeps a low profile. As for the other 2 masters, one of them owns a BMW and the other likes to play with motorcycles. Which one of them doesn't cost money? Yes, yes, yes. Brother Lei, don't worry. Our master will definitely not mistreat everyone." The skinny guy explained, "This 500,000 is just a deposit. There's still 1 million left. When the matter is settled, I'll immediately transfer it to your account." "That's more like it. Interesting." Huang Lei then closed his eyes in satisfaction and focused on enjoying the skinny guy's backscrubbing service. "Brother Lei, then this matter, it's settled. I'll accept it on behalf of my big brother. You can go back and reply to your master." "All right, Brother Lei. It might be a little too much for a young man like me to scrub your back." "Brother Lei, wait a moment. I'll help you arrange for a good person to come over." Huang Lei rolled his eyes, thinking to himself that he could arrange for a woman to come in. In the end, after a while, a graceful woman in a bikini really walked in. She ignored the surprised looks of the others and squatted behind Huang Lei to scrub him. She also occasionally took care of his doppelganger. Huang Lei was dumbfounded. Only Fu Fan had the ability to stuff a woman into the men's bathtub to serve him. "Brother, are you satisfied?" The girl leaned close to Huang Lei's ear and asked gently. "Satisfied, satisfied." Huang Lei thought to himself, "I didn't come out for nothing this time. From now on, I'll be the middleman with Fu Fan." Guan Wenbao was too serious and not suitable for this occasion. Bai Lin Luo was still a child. He couldn't lead him astray. Yang Kai was gay. He could just play with his own ass. Indeed, the most difficult work had to be done by himself. Ahaha. Chapter 293. When Huang Lei returned, he informed Li Fan and the rest. "Huang Lei, did you forget to take your medicine?" Bai Lin Luo frowned, scolding Huang Lei, provoking the relationship between the Yellow Uniform Regiment and Vanguard Army. "Are you kidding me? Yellow Uniform Regiment and Vanguard Army, what the hell is that?" Hearing this, Yang Kai was stunned. "You don't even know that, you're really dumb." Guan Wenbao had been cramming in some trendy culture recently. When he heard that Yang Kai did not understand, he immediately gave him a look of disdain. "Fuck, you seem to know that." Yang Kai was unconvinced. "Of course I know." Guan Wenbao nodded deeply. "Then tell me, are they all dumb? From the sound of it, it sounds like those guild names in online games. Lei, have you been playing online games recently?" Guan Wenbao asked Huang Lei seriously, leaving Huang Lei speechless. "You 2 clowns, don't interrupt." Bai Lin Luo was a little angry. Don't be fooled by this little 4 eyes who did not know martial arts. He did not have any true energy. But for some reason, when he was angry, even the 2 masters with extraordinary speed would be afraid. Didn't they say that rabbits will bite when they are cornered? That was probably the meaning of that sentence. These 2 organizations are one of the 3 biggest gangs in a city. Bai Lin Luo reminded Huang Lei, "Don't mention going against 2, even if we go against one of them, we'll be in an awkward situation. Haven't you ever thought about this? Fortune comes from risk, don't you think so, big brother?" Huang Lei could not bear the pressure from Bai Lin Luo. He could only look at Li Fan pleadingly. "We have an agreement with Fu Fan." Li Fan touched his chin and said slowly, "Since they gave us a task, if we don't complete it, we will lose our credibility. Tell me, how much is the reward for this mission?" "This 500,000 is the deposit." Huang Lei placed a black canvas bag in front of Li Fan and the others. "The remaining 1 million, give it to us after the job is done. It's Fu Fan after all. He's really generous." 1.5 million was indeed not a small number. Even if it was Li Fan, after hearing this price, it was impossible for him not to be tempted. "My master Fan, You have to think it through. This 1.5 million is not easy to earn. Bai Lin Luo hurriedly reminded Li Fan. He was afraid that Li Fan would be hot-headed and do something out of line. Of course it's not easy to earn, but I can't not earn the money. Li Fan said, Little Four Eyes, is there any way to sow discord between them? I've done some research on them. Hearing Li Fan said so, Bai Lin Luo no longer hesitated. He was Li Fan's strategist. Usually, he was responsible for reminding Li Fan so that he would not go the wrong way. Once Li Fan made a decision, he would assist Li Fan to complete the task. This was what a qualified strategist should do. The Red Dragon Society, the Yellow-Clothed Group and the Vanguard Army were originally in a tripartite state in a city. Previously, everyone was hostile towards each other, so the world was divided into 3 parts. But now it's different. The relationship between Liu Xinnan and Yang Ruining has been strained. The Red Dragon Society has lost its bridge with the Vanguard Army. On the contrary, the Yellow-Clothed Group and the White-Clothed Group are now like glue. Their relationship is unprecedentedly good. This made the Red Dragon Society feel the pressure. That Fu Fan is a member of the Red Dragon Society? Li Fan was a little surprised. I don't think so. If he was a member of the Red Dragon Society, why would he mess with Hu Yang? Hu Yang's backer was the Red Dragon Society. If Fu Fan was also a member of the Red Dragon Society, why would he mess with Hu Yang? Big brother, Fu Fan is indeed a member of the Red Dragon Society. Huang Lei said, it's just that he is a very low-key person. Very few people know about this. It's precisely because he's from the Crimson Dragon Society that no one would suspect him when Hu Yang enters. Huh. Bai Lin Luo was a little surprised. Did I hear it wrong? Lei actually spat out ivory from a dog's mouth. Huang Lei was speechless. That was a little too much. Precisely because of this, Fu Fan destroyed the people who threatened his position the last time. This time, he's going to destroy the organization that threatened the Red Dragon Society's position. Bai Lin Luo concluded, the danger in this goes without saying. My master Fan, you really want to do this? Of course I want to do it. Li Fan did not have the slightest hesitation. Fighting against the underworld is the duty of every citizen. He said righteously, I, Li Fan, am such an ambitious young man. Everyone in the room was speechless. All right, since you want to do it, I'll help you. Bai Lin Luo pushed his glasses up, and the gears in his brain started spinning again. There is a way, but it's a little risky. I'll ask you one last time, are you sure you want to do it? What's there to be afraid of? There are only a few gambles in life. Li Fan raised his arm and shouted, anyway, I've always hated the Yellow Uniform Society and the Vanguard. Damn it, they're not good people. It's a good time to mess with them. Let's have some fun. But, isn't the Yellow Uniform Society's goddaughter your good friend? Bai Lin Luo asked Li Fan again, you're messing with her gang, are you sure they won't come after you? TSK, when did we become good friends? Li Fan corrected him, we're just business partners. Besides, the Yellow Uniform Society has already offended me, I won't let it go so easily. If I don't uproot these poisonous weeds from City A, I won't feel comfortable. The Red Dragon Society isn't a good person either. Bai Lin Luo reminded him. Don't worry, the Red Dragon Society is just a matter of time. Li Fan laughed, my working relationship with Fu Fan is extremely dangerous, it's only a matter of time before it collapses. Lei, be more vigilant when you meet with Fu Fan's people in the future. I will, big brother, Huang Lei said, but in his mind, he was recalling the girl's flirtatious behavior last night. She was also very good at licking him, making him feel very comfortable. Sigh, when can we have sex again? If I knew this would happen, we should have exchanged WeChat messages. All right, it's settled. Little Four Eyes, come up with a plan for us. Okay. Bai Lin Luo didn't hesitate, he immediately pulled out the whiteboard and began to assign tasks to Li Fan and the rest. Although the task was difficult, as the brain of Phenomenal Express, Bai Lin Luo must make sure the plan was executed perfectly. This time, they needed some tools and 2 people to do it. Yang Ruining didn't know that Li Fan had taken the initiative to target him this time. At this moment, He was practicing kickboxing with a pair of beautiful twins on the bed to increase his experience and unlock more postures. At this moment, his phone rang. He was so angry that he wanted to throw the phone away. But when he realized it was a capable subordinate, he could only call a truce with the two beauties and pick up the phone. "Young master, we've found the expert you wanted." Chapter 294. Oh! Yang Ruining's anger subsided a little. Finding an expert is very important. Yang Ruining thinks that Li Fan only knows a bit of martial arts, so he can't let him be so arrogant anymore. As a young master, if he can't even deal with him, how can he mingle in the underworld? Huang Fu Feng, Shen Mengjie, these unreliable people, naturally can't be found. This time, he will find a real expert. Who is the other party? If it's some small fry, don't throw them at this young master. Yang Ruining is in a bad mood. Defeat after defeat has made his mood fall to the bottom of the valley. If there were more monsters and demons, he would really explode. "Young master, this is said to be an expert from Medicine King Valley." His underling quickly said on the phone, "It's an expert. Our 30 or so subordinates were all taken down by him in a single exchange." "Is that so?" Yang Ruining pulled out his doppelganger and stood up from the bed. The two twin beauties gently put clothes on him. "You two wait for this young master. This young master will go out and take a look," Yang Ruining said as he put on his clothes and walked out of the room that is filled with a lascivious atmosphere. In the hall on the first floor, a man in a black robe is casually sitting on the sofa, one hand lightly tapping on the teacup in front of him, as if thinking about something. "There's no Longjing. I only like to drink Longjing." Lying beside him are Yang Ruining's underlings, those elite vanguard thugs. These usually powerful thugs are now standing crookedly on the side. "We really don't have that kind of inferior tea here," Yang Ruining said with a smile as he walked down the stairs, "but I have some top-quality Da Hong Pao. Would you like to try it?" "I'm not used to drinking it." The man in black waved his hand. "I only like to drink Longjing. It's said that the temper of experts is a bit weird. Today I've seen it for myself," Yang Ruining said, "but if you are a real expert, I can forgive you for this. Your tone is quite big." The man in black chuckled. "You probably don't know, but within a 10-meter radius, it's my forbidden zone. Right now, you are in my forbidden zone. As long as I wave my finger, you will die." "Really?" Yang Ruining didn't seem to believe it. The black-robed man immediately waved his finger, and Yang Ruining immediately felt his legs go soft, and he directly fell on the stairs behind him. Blood began to flow from his nose, and his vision began to darken. This kind of feeling was like death was about to come. I don't want to die." Yang Ruining started to tremble. When the black-robed man retracted his finger, Yang Ruining's pain immediately dissipated. He returned to his normal state and took a few deep breaths. Just now, death seemed to be right beside him. "I am a disciple of the Yin Gate of the Medicine King Valley. Everything within a 10-meter radius has been corroded by my poison attack. If I wanted to kill you, it would be as easy as crushing an ant." Expert, he is indeed an expert. Although Yang Ruining was unhappy, he pretended to be pleasantly surprised. He cupped his hands towards the man and said, "You're the expert I'm looking for. You flatter me." The black-robed man said indifferently, "I came to City A to do something." However, he had left in a hurry and did not have enough money for travel. "If I help you for a week, I'll get 1 million. Deal." Yang Ruining agreed without hesitation. This man's skill was too heaven-defying. He was simply a poisonous man. As long as he was willing to help him, in a week, he could get rid of that brat Li Fan. No matter how powerful he was, he couldn't possibly resist the pervasive poison gas. Even the heavens wanted to help me, giving me such a powerful expert. This time, it was really just a matter of time before he could chase after those few top-grade beauties. "This house of yours is not bad. I'll stay here first." The black-robed man was really friendly, but Yang Ruining didn't care. "All right, this is for you to stay here. However, I still don't know Sir's name." "My surname is Ma, first name Wen Chang. You can call me Mr. Ma, or you can call me Law Protector Ma," the black-robed man said with some pride. "All right, I'm going to rest. Don't disturb me tonight, I'm going to practice. From tomorrow onwards, I'll be by your side and listen to your orders. That's naturally good, I can't thank you enough. Yang Ruining immediately cupped his hands and said to Ma Wenchang, there are 2 twin beauties upstairs. If Mr. Ma doesn't mind, you can enjoy them tonight. You're quite sensible. Very good. Ma Wenchang smiled and nodded. It seemed that Yang Ruining finally understood his preferences. Damn it, old pervert. Yang Ruining cursed in his heart, but his face was still respectful as he watched this expert go upstairs. Although the 2 beauties were a bit good, it was a pity to let them serve others. But as long as he served this expert well, everything else would not be a problem. Li Fan, I want to see how long you can be so cocky. Yang Ruining was proud in his heart, but the next day, he couldn't laugh anymore. When he saw the 2 beauties again, they had already turned into dried corpses. Fuck. What the hell is this Ma Wenchang doing? Is he a fucking vampire? Looking at Yang Ruining's questioning eyes, Ma Wenchang slowly said, I am a disciple of the Medicine King Valley's Yin Gate, and I practice poison attacks. My entire body is filled with poison, including my corpse. These 2 girls are not bad, but unfortunately, they can't withstand my poison. Yang Ruining took 2 steps back, putting some distance between him and Ma Wenchang. Hee, don't be afraid. If you don't touch my corpse, you won't be poisoned to death. Ma Wenchang laughed. Yang Ruining said in his heart, damn it, then don't you know how to wear a condom? Do you have to kill people to be happy? What? Young Master Yang doesn't have the ability to settle this matter. Forget it. Mr. Ma, be careful next time. Although human life is not worth much, it's still a bit troublesome to deal with. Yang Ruining clapped his hands. Some of his subordinates came in, put on gloves and masks, and then dragged the 2 corpses out. These 2 girls are not bad. Let's get 2 more tonight. Ma Wenchang laughed. Yang Ruining's head immediately swelled. This kind of top-quality twins can only be found by luck. I only have this pair. He was still feeling heartache. This shameless guy actually wants a pair. Where can I get one? What a pity. If I knew earlier, I would have done it for a week and not wear a condom. Ma Wenchang was quite regretful. Yang Ruining was almost angered to death. This bastard, when I'm done with him, I'll quickly send him away. But why did this kind of person come to a city? This made Yang Ruining curious. By the way, help me find out where this person is. Ma Wenchang pushed out a photo. When Yang Ruining saw it, he was surprised. Isn't this Murong Ying? Chapter 295. Yang Ruining guessed wrong. Ma Wenchang was not looking for Murong Ying, but her sister, Murong Ari. That damned woman actually stole their Medicine King Valley's poison manual. Medicine King Valley was a secluded sect that rarely moved about in the outside world. Therefore, news was blocked and information lagged behind. Ma Wenchang still did not know that the current chief of Wulin was Murong Ying. If he knew, he would not have come to a city so rashly. I'll help you investigate this person. Murong Ying was the woman he wanted. He had not enjoyed her yet. He could not let this poisonous Ma Wenchang do whatever he wanted. Therefore, Yang Ruining deliberately concealed that he knew about Murong Ying. His target was only Li Fan. As long as Li Fan was dead, the top-quality girls around him would be a piece of cake. Okay, then I'm going to practice. Ma Wenchang patted his butt and was about to get up to leave when he was stopped by Yang Ruining. That. Mr. Ma. Guardian Ma, what's the matter? Ma Wenchang frowned and seemed a little unhappy. Yang Ruining was unhappy in his heart. Young master hired you to work, not to let you take care of me. However, he could only mutter this in his heart. He did not dare to say it out loud. After all, Ma Wenchang was an expert. If he really fought with him, he would not be able to stop him. This kind of person had to be coaxed. Mr. Ma, we have an important banquet tonight. I need Mr. Ma to attend it with me. Oh, going to dinner? Almost, but I can't guarantee the safety of the scene, so I hope Mr. Ma can take care of it for me. So troublesome. Ma Wenchang looked unhappy. I can go, but prepare a car. The car doesn't need to be too high class. A Bentley will do. Damn, this is not high class. This guy thinks too highly of himself. He said he would not drink Da Hong Pao before, but didn't he drink all the Da Hong Pao at home in one night? This made Yang Ruining's heart ache. After all, the production of Da Hong Pao was extremely low. Even if he had money, he might not be able to get it. Since he had spent so much, he had to use it where it mattered most. Yang Ruining was not a fool. Although he spent money like water, he never wasted it. This was Yang Ruining's life principle. That was why he was able to sit in the position of the Vanguard Army's young master at such a young age. Don't worry, I will definitely prepare the car for you. Yang Ruining maintained his smile and cupped his hands at Ma Wenchang. Mr. Ma, we're counting on you tonight. All right, I got it. Apart from eating, don't call me. I'm going to concentrate on practicing. After saying that, Ma Wenchang turned around and left, as if he didn't want to bother with Yang Ruining anymore. Yang Ruining cursed in his heart. This old thing was really a bastard. Just because he had some martial arts, he was even more shameless than Li Fan. No, after I deal with Li Fan, I must deal with this Ma Wenchang as well. Otherwise, his heart would not be balanced. Yang Ruining did not know that Li Fan was also watching him at this moment. The place where Yang Ruining and Wang Baiqiang met was a very famous restaurant in City A. Its name was Number 1 Under Heaven. The owner of the restaurant was also a famous big brother in the underworld, but he had retired for a long time. Now that he had opened such a restaurant, the people in the underworld had to give him some face. Yang Ruining was a famous young master in the underworld, and Wang Baiqiang was also a famous figure for many years. There was a legend in the Yellow Clothes Society, and his name was Sun Jialiang. It was said that this Sun Jialiang debuted at the age of 15, and was already a big brother at the age of 25. Now he was 50 years old, and he was an all-powerful figure in City A. Even a young master like Yang Ruining had to respectfully call him uncle when he saw him. And Sun Jialiang rarely appeared now. Most of the time, it was his nephew, deputy gang leader Wang Baiqiang. Although Wang Baiqiang was Sun Jialiang's nephew, he also debuted on his own. It was only until he made a name for himself that everyone knew that he had such a powerful background. Sun Jialiang seemed to like this kind of person, including the daughter of the Red Dragon Society, Liu Xinnan. She also liked him, so he took her as his goddaughter. In terms of age, Yang Ruining and Wang Baiqiang were naturally older. But in terms of status, Yang Ruining was still higher. There was no one else in the entire restaurant, and everyone was the underlings of both sides. On the left sat the members of the yellow uniform group. Every one of them was wearing yellow clothing. Some were wearing yellow t-shirts, some were wearing yellow jackets, some were wearing yellow pants, and some were even wearing yellow scarves or yellow hats. On the other hand, Yang Ruining's vanguard was much simpler. Everyone was wearing clean black suits. They didn't look like triads, but more like the company's sales staff. Brother, we haven't seen each other for a long time, right? Wang Baiqiang sat opposite Yang Ruining. Although there were dozens of underlings on both sides, there were only the two of them at their table. The table was filled with all kinds of sumptuous dishes, and Yang Ruining was pouring wine for the two of them. It's been a long time. Last year, when Big Brother's child was 1 month old, I went to the wedding. Yang Ruining placed the wine in front of Wang Baiqiang respectfully. It's my fault as a younger brother. I should visit Big Brother more often. Ari, don't say that, we're all family in the future. Wang Baiqiang waved his hand. It's a pity that you and that girl Liu Xinnan. In Big Brother's opinion, you two were quite compatible. Why did it end up being ruined? Did that girl look down on my little brother? She must be blind. Ari, it's no use saying this now that fate is gone. Yang Ruining was filled with emotion. The two of us are probably the legendary fated but not fated to be together. Liu Xinnan is ambitious, and she looks down on us. I can't do anything about it, I can only wish her happiness. It's okay, that's because she doesn't have the taste, and she doesn't have the luck. Later, Big Brother will introduce you to a good one, 100 times better than her. That's true, that's true. Yang Ruining also had bitterness that he could not voice out. He wanted to get married, but Liu Xinnan had to agree to it. Damn that Li Fan, it's all because of that brat. If I don't kill him, I won't feel balance. Yang Ruining's heart was filled with hatred, but he still had a smile on his face. Big brother, this little brother will give you a toast first. Come, cheers. Wang Baiqiang and Yang Ruining clinked glasses, and the two of them exchanged toasts, exchanging all kinds of greetings. And Ma Wenchang was sitting at the table next to them, leisurely drinking a top-grade marotai. It was as if he was not here to be a bodyguard, but really here to eat. Little brother, we can't just drink, it's time to talk about serious matters. Wang Baiqiang finally put down his wine glass and got to the point. Big brother is right, I'm listening. Yang Ruining also put down his wine glass, saying in his heart, it's finally coming. Chapter 296. Recently, the Red Dragon Society has been a bit arrogant. Wang Baiqiang went straight to the point, their territory is increasing, and their business is getting bigger and bigger. A few days ago, they bought over a few of my bets. To be honest, I'm a bit pissed. Yeah, don't just talk about me, as the younger brother, I'm also pissed. Yang Ruining nodded, they're really going overboard. They want to monopolize the market and destroy both of our families. You're right. Wang Baiqiang nodded, fuck, I finally see it. That brat Liu Xinnan, ever since she took over her old man's group, she's been getting more and more out of control. When Mr. Liu was still in power, everyone trusted him, not to mention anything else, he and my uncle were comrades in arms from the same trenches. Their relationship was as strong as iron. When Mr. Liu was still in power, there weren't so many things, our three families were so harmonious. Look at now, it's over, it's all over. Our relationship will be destroyed sooner or later. Although we've separated, we should wish each other well, but I really can't take it anymore. Yang Ruining slammed the table, a bit pissed, I've had enough, that woman, she's too ambitious, she doesn't even care about us. When we were still together, I told her that the three families would work together and earn money together. But guess what she said? What did she say? She cursed the one next door, that woman. She actually said she looks down on the Yellow Shirt Society. What? Wang Baiqiang was a bit pissed when he heard that. She said she only admires Boss Sun. Once Boss Sun retires, you'll be the leader, then she won't care about the Yellow Shirt Society anymore. When that time comes, I'm afraid the Red Dragon Society will be ruthless to the Yellow Shirt Society. That's what that woman said about me. Although she was his god-sister, Wang Baiqiang was obviously unhappy with this woman. Yeah, she said, big brother, your character is bad, your bearing is bad, and your charisma is terrible, there's no way you can inherit the Yellow Shirt Society. Fucking bullshit. Wang Baiqiang was completely pissed, slamming the table, the Yellow Shirt Society will only get better in my hand. I'm going to fuck those stinking bitches. Forget it, there's no need to get angry with this kind of woman. Yang Ruining suddenly sighed and advised, no matter what, the Red Dragon Society is now a big organization and is in the limelight. Our two families should restrain ourselves so that she won't cause trouble for us. What's there to be afraid of? She's nothing. Wang Baiqiang scolded, I'm going to teach this woman a lesson. Brother, you had an affair with her. Whose side are you on? As for me, although I had some feelings for her, Yang Ruining was secretly delighted. This was the effect he wanted. He was about to continue, but at this moment, from among Wang Baiqiang's subordinates, a man wearing a mask suddenly stood up. He held a crude Hualong-made pistol in his hand and fired a shot at Yang Ruining opposite him. Bang! The bullet was fired, but Ma Wenchang, who was sitting on the side, suddenly turned his head and waved his hand to throw the teacup. The bullet hit the teacup and caused it to explode, but Yang Ruining was still alive. Motherfucker, the Yellow Shirt Society wants to kill our young master. Someone from the vanguard shouted, brothers, get your weapons and fuck them up. The vanguard immediately drew their axes from their waists and rushed towards the Yellow Shirt Society. The Yellow Shirt Society did not want to fall behind. They also drew their machetes and fought with the vanguard. Wang Baiqiang and Yang Ruining were still in a daze. What was going on? Why was it that a second ago, they were still lovey-dovey, but the next second, they were fighting? In this kind of situation, even if they wanted to suppress it, it would be impossible, right? Moreover, Yang Ruining was also very angry. He shouted at Wang Baiqiang, "Wang Baiqiang, you motherfucker. I trusted you so much, but you actually want to kill me. Brother, calm down." Wang Baiqiang was just about to explain when one of his favorite subordinates was already slashed to the ground by the vanguard. All five. Wang Baiqiang's eyes were about to pop out of their sockets. This deputy was like his own brother, but now he was seriously injured and was about to die. This undoubtedly made him lose his rationality. Yang Ruining, I'll fuck you. Wang Baiqiang also picked up a machete and pounced towards Yang Ruining. Mr. Ma, protect me. Yang Ruining was so scared that he kept retreating. This Wang Baiqiang was much more ferocious than him. Although Yang Ruining had practiced some karate, he did not want to get injured in a place like this. As he retreated, he looked for Ma Wenchang. But when he looked carefully, he could not find Ma Wenchang at all. Fuck, where did that old man go at such a crucial time? Yang Ruining thought that Ma Wenchang had run away, but that was not the case. At this time, Ma Wenchang had already caught up to the person who fired the gun earlier and jumped out of the restaurant's window together with him. Kid, where do you think you're going? Ma Wenchang leaped into the air and landed in front of that figure, blocking his path. You can fool others, but you can't fool me. A martial artist actually using such a childish firearm. You're really an embarrassment to us, martial artist. Interesting. Li Fan pulled his mask and looked at the middle-aged man in front of him, trying to guess his identity. Who is this guy? He seems to be quite skilled. If he hadn't stopped him just now, Yang Ruining would have been shot. The Hualong gun in Li Fan's hand was also obtained from Fu Fan. It could only be fired once, and one more shot would cause it to explode. According to Little Four Eyes' plan, it should have been quite smooth. But he didn't expect that someone would appear out of nowhere, and that someone like this would pop out. Kid, which sect are you from? Ma Wenchang asked. After all, I don't kill nameless people. When I go to the netherworld, I can hold on to my identity. Sorry, today is a private visit. It's not convenient for me to reveal my name. Li Fan chuckled and laughed. Kid, what a pity. You can only be a nameless wild ghost. Ma Wenchang said and waved his hand. When Li Fan saw a layer of green mist floating in the air, he immediately retreated a few steps in alert, avoiding this mist. Ma Wenchang furrowed his brows and narrowed his eyes. You sensed my poisonous mist. Poisonous mist. Li Fan suddenly realized, no wonder it's green. Ma Wenchang was taken aback by her words. You can tell it's green poisonous mist. How is that possible? His poisonous mist was indeed green, but after being tempered by his true qi had become colorless. How did this man in front of him who covered his face see it? Chapter 297. Tell me, how did you see through it? As Ma Wenchang said this, he controlled his poisonous fog and gathered it towards Li Fan again. Ha! Li Fan roared like a tiger roaring through the forest. The shockwave spread out and directly blew the poisonous fog back to Ma Wenchang's side. Ma Wenchang, on the other hand, specialized in playing with poison. With a wave of his hand, he gathered the poisonous mist into his sleeve. I didn't expect to meet a strange person here. Ma Wenchang was very interested in Li Fan, but also a little afraid. Since you can detect my poisonous fog, then I can't let you live. Today, I must take your life. Ma Wenchang's killing intent rose. This Li Fan must not be left alive. Every day he lives, he is a threat to me. Not only me, his existence is a threat to the entire Medicine King Valley. Why, are you ready to kill me? Li Fan didn't care at all. Instead, he laughed, but I don't have time to play with you today. Let's meet again another day. With that, Li Fan's feet bounced and his body floated backward like a gust of wind. He stepped on the air conditioner behind him and floated 5 meters high, landing on the rooftop of the 3rd floor of the hotel. Your qinggong is good, but you can't escape. Ma Wenchang seemed to have some confidence in his qinggong. His body was like a ghost, flying directly up the building. From afar, it looked like a black robe was rolling on its own. It was extremely strange. Li Fan turned around to take a look and was extremely surprised. What the hell is this Medicine King Valley's Qigong? Why is it really like a ghost? Kid, where are you going? Ma Wenchang's body was in midair. He stretched out his hand towards Li Fan and grabbed Li Fan with his palm. His palm was emerald green like jade. It looked very strange as it could be. Li Fan frowned. He was hesitating if he should face this guy's palm, but it was too late to dodge now. Facing his palm was the most effective way, but if he were to use his bare hands to fight, he would probably be poisoned. Li Fan thought of a way. He wrapped his true qi around his palm, and then used the Bear King seal to meet Ma Wenchang's poisonous palm. Bang! Pa! Two crisp sounds rang out, as if someone had hit a double kick. The two of them separated as soon as they made contact, and the green poisonous mist and true qi exploded in all directions. The billboard next to it caved in, and some of the birds perched on it fell straight down. Their bodies stiffened, and they fell to the ground dead. Ma Wenchang's poisonous mist was very powerful. Li Fan had already stopped his breathing and sealed all the pores on his body, allowing his true qi to circulate within his body, maintaining a state of internal circulation and external closure. Ma Wenchang's poison spread to Li Fan's body, but Li Fan cleverly sealed all the pores on his body, preventing Ma Wenchang's poison from entering. When Ma Wenchang saw that Li Fan was not afraid of his poisonous gas, his brows furrowed even deeper. How was this possible? There was actually someone who could resist his poison mist. This was simply inconceivable. As for Li Fan, he was well aware of his own condition. The last time Liao Wushuang raised the question about true qi, he had carefully studied the true qi in his body. He discovered that true qi, blood, and oxygen had a very important relationship. Although the dantian was the place to store true qi, the place that could really exert the effects of true qi was the heart. When the true qi circulated, it would also accelerate the blood circulation in his body, thus speeding up his body's metabolism. The human body's metabolism would speed up, making the person healthier and better. But if the metabolism slowed down, the amount of energy lost would also be lesser. In theory, this way, one's lifespan would be longer. If Li Fan wanted to describe it, his heart was like the engine of a car. The stronger the internal energy of a person, the stronger this engine would be. For example, an expert who had reached the point of perfection might have a 4-cylinder engine. And an expert who had reached the next level would have a 6-cylinder engine. They had reached the peak of perfection, so it should be an 8-cylinder engine. The engine would quickly inhale, compress true qi, and then release it. This power was extremely powerful. Every time the true qi entered through the pores of the body, it would be discharged through the pores of the body. And when Li Fan closed his pores, the true qi would completely form an internal cycle, making Li Fan's power be restrained and not released. Instead, it would be even more explosive. Li Fan could maintain this kind of time for about 3 minutes. It was like holding one's breath. It was very difficult to maintain it for too long. If it was too long, Li Fan's internal cycle would collapse, and he would need external oxygen to continue to operate. But after Li Fan mastered the closing and closing of the pores, he could better cultivate true qi. This was because he could open and close his pores to obtain the oxygen in the air and enter his body. This true qi should have been discharged with the beating of the heart, but because Li Fan's pores were closed, most of the true qi rolled into the dantian, making Li Fan's dantian store more true qi. If it was a normal person, there would be about 38,000 pores on the skin. Among them, 19,000 were the pores for inhaling, and the other 19,000 were the pores for exhaling. Li Fan had closed the pores for exhaling, but he still kept the pores for inhaling. When needed, he could turn all 38,000 pores into pores for inhaling air, or into pores for exhaling air. This way, Li Fan could absorb and release true qi twice as much as a normal person, or even more. To be able to do all this was not easy. Li Fan had a unique abnormal bone-changing physique, so he could do all this. At this time, Li Fan had closed all the pores on his body, even the inhaling and exhaling to prevent himself from being hit. Li Fan waved his hand, bringing up a palm wind, sweeping away the poisonous fog around him, and then retreated 3 to 4 meters, out of the range of the poisonous fog. Damn it! Ma Wenchang felt like he was sitting on pins and needles. This person could actually restrain his martial arts. This was too scary. No matter what, he had to keep this kid here today. Go. Ma Wenchang threw out a black lightning bolt, charging straight at Li Fan. But fortunately, Li Fan had the vision to slow down infinitely. He reached out and caught the black shadow in his hand. With the help of the moonlight, he took a closer look. Good Lord, this guy was actually a little snake. The little black snake had a triangular head, and there were patterns on its body. One look and one could tell that it was extremely poisonous. It spat out its fangs, trying to bite Li Fan's mouth. But how could Li Fan fall for it? He quickly squeezed his palm, directly breaking the little black snake into two. My baby. Ma Wenchang screamed in pain. He was clearly a man, but he let out a hysterical cry like a woman. It could be seen that this thing might be very important to him. Old poison, I don't have time to play with you. Young master will leave first. Chapter 298. Li Fan's mission today was to disrupt the meeting between the yellow-clothed regiment and the vanguard army, not to fight with this guy. He took a few more steps back. Once he was free of the poisonous fog, he opened all the pores on his body and released his true chi. Extreme Bear King Seal. Li Fan rushed in Ma Wenchang's direction and pushed out with both hands. Boom. Like a tsunami, Li Fan's true chi surged out in waves, crashing into Ma Wenchang's body. The green fog that covered the sky was instantly dispersed. Even Ma Wenchang was sent flying by this powerful true chi, heavily smashing into the billboard behind him, causing a dent to appear on the already deformed billboard. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Li Fan leaped down from the sky. Dear scamper. Li Fan's right foot bounced in the air and stepped on the air. However, he stepped out with true energy and charged into the air. His entire body leaped forward a few meters. He somersaulted and landed on the opposite building. His posture was like that of a sprinting wild deer, leaping over a mountain stream with a beautiful posture. Li Fan quickly concealed his figure, while Ma Wenchang slowly descended from the billboard, massaging his muscles and bones. Damn it! Who the hell is this kid? Ma Wenchang was shocked and confused. Li Fan's existence had completely subverted his common sense. How could there be anyone in this world who was not afraid of their Yin Gate's poisonous fog? The Medicine King Valley's poison manual had been passed down for hundreds of years and had never been wrong. The Medicine King Valley's research on the human body was very thorough. There were two branches in the Medicine King Valley. One was the Yang Gate, which specialized in saving lives, and the other was the Yin Gate, which specialized in the study of poison manual. These two groups were always fighting, because the things they were researching were completely opposite. But after fighting for so many years, there was no clear winner. Between the Yin Gate and the Yang Gate, there would always be different experts. Whether it was poison or medicine, it all depended on the individual's strength. Sometimes the Yin Gate suppressed the Yang Gate, and sometimes the Yang Gate suppressed the Yin Gate. However, after so many years, these two sects still existed and never declined. What shocked Ma Wenchang was that his poison should have 100% destructive power to the human body. Unless he used the antidote, it would be impossible for anyone who was poisoned by him to survive. What method did that brat use? Not only was he not poisoned, but he was also alive and kicking. Damn it, this person is the natural enemy of Medicine King Valley. He must be eliminated. But before that, he had to get rid of the woman who had stolen the Book of Poison. Ma Wenchang needed to borrow the power of the local tyrant, Yang Ruining. However, he didn't know if that guy was dead or not, so he had to go back and take a look. Ma Wenchang used his Qinggong and quickly returned to his original position. At this time, the battle in the restaurant had already ended. Yang Ruining was apologizing to the owner of the restaurant. The owner of the restaurant didn't say much. Although he had quite a lot of connections, Yang Ruining's identity was still there. It was unlikely that he would go against him. It looked like Wang Baiqiang had been defeated. His men were almost wiped out, while Yang Ruining's vanguard army was elite, so there were still many left. There were still more than 20 men in black suits who remained intact. All of them had white ribbons tied around their right arms, which was the symbol of their battle. The representative color of the vanguard army was white. Although he had won once, Yang Ruining didn't have any smile on his face. He originally wanted to join forces with the yellow-clothed group. After that, they would deal with the Red Dragon Society together. After dealing with the Red Dragon Society, he would deal with the yellow-clothed group. In the generation before them, when Sun Jialiang, as well as his and Liu Xinnan's father were still in power, the three bosses had a good relationship. City A had always been divided into three parts. In order to strengthen the relationship between the three, the boss of the Red Dragon Society had his daughter, Liu Xinnan, engaged him. At the same time, Sun Jialiang of the yellow-clothed group had also accepted Liu Xinnan as his goddaughter. This Liu Xinnan, a woman, had become the bridge to balance the strength of the three families. However, after the three bosses retreated behind the scenes, things slowly changed. First of all, as a woman, Liu Xinnan seemed to be very ambitious. She was unwilling to give the Red Dragon Society's family business to Yang Ruining just like that. Therefore, she looked for Li Fan to beat Yang Ruining up, completely ruining the marriage between the two. Then, Wang Baiqiang took over. He was also unwilling to let the yellow-clothed group be in the weakest position. In City A, the upper echelons of business belonged to the Red Dragon Society and the Vanguard Army. The yellow-clothed group did the lowest of the low. This made Wang Baiqiang very uncomfortable. He didn't want to be like this forever. His thoughts were similar to Yang Ruining's. First, cooperate with the Vanguard Army and destroy the Red Dragon Society, which had the strongest momentum. As for dealing with Yang Ruining, it wouldn't be too late to settle the score later. However, no one expected such a thing to happen now. Big brother. I've let you down. His right-hand man was lying on the hospital bed. One of his arms and one of his legs could no longer be reattached. With tears in the corner of his eyes, he said to Wang Baiqiang, "I can't help you anymore." Wang Baiqiang couldn't help but be moved. His assistant was a tough man. In the past, when he was stabbed, he didn't even make a sound. But now, he was crying, "All five, don't be afraid. I'll find you the best doctor and send you to America to reattach the most advanced arms and legs. I promise you that you'll be like a whole person. Nothing will happen to you." He had always treated this assistant like his own younger brother. In the past, when they were fighting, all five had helped him take countless blows, but now, he was beaten up to this state. Yang Ruining, I'm irreconcilable with you. Just that night, the new structure that was about to take shape in City A suddenly changed. The yellow-clothed group and the Vanguard Army were originally glued to each other, but now they were almost mortal enemies. Li Fan and the others were naturally happy when they split the money. After Huang Lei took the money, the first thing he did was to find a place to have some fun. Jiangan District was undoubtedly his best choice. Huang Lei went to a shampoo room that he usually went to. Although it was called a shampoo room, it was washing the small hair below. According to Huang Lei's usual taste, he found a chubby girl and started to fuck her. After he was done and turned on the lights, Huang Lei regretted it. This technician looked a bit too unworthy of the audience. The technician was cleaning his lower body when Huang Lei lit a cigarette and asked, "Girl, how long have you been working?" "More than 3 years, brother." Although the technician didn't look good, her service attitude was good. She was also very gentle and basically answered every question. "How much money can you make in a month?" Huang Lei asked as he smoked. 5 or 6,000 when it's high, 1 or 2,000 when it's low. You earn too little. Is it because you're ugly and have fewer customers? Chapter 299. Big brother, what are you talking about? The technician was a bit unhappy. Don't look at me because I'm ugly, but I live well. Let me tell you, brother, I have a lot of repeat customers. This set of mine is very good. I can slap, I can touch, I can lick, and I can rap. Brother, with this set of mine, do you feel uncomfortable? It's okay. You still need to practice more. Huang Lei felt very comfortable being licked earlier, but he still felt a bit uncomfortable. Although he likes fat women, the one in front of him was too ugly. Those who didn't know better would think that there was a black diamond. Sister, brother wants to ask you something. Okay, brother, go ahead. The technician didn't forget to clean up Huang Lei, but Huang Lei asked, "Why do you want to do this?" "Brother, Why are you asking this? This is definitely not a hobby. The technician muttered in his heart, is this person sick? Isn't it because I'm forced to do this? Otherwise, who would do this? You're wrong to think like that. Come, let me teach you a lesson. Huang Lei crossed his legs, held a cigarette, and said very seriously, Sister, let me tell you, as a person, you must have ambition. Yes, with 2 legs, you can make money quickly. But this thing is after all a youth meal, and a single mistake can cause everlasting regret. Do you think your future husband will marry you if he knows you are in this line of work? If your child knows that you did this, what will he think? Brother, we just smashed a cannon. We came out to have fun. Why are you trying to reason with me? The technician was about to collapse. It's because of this that I want to remind you. Huang Lei continued, look at the other customers. Which one of them didn't pull up their pants and leave? They're irresponsible. But brother is different. Brother is a responsible person. Sister, how about brother help you find a job? Being a waitress or something is fine. What kind of waitress do I? I don't earn much, and it's quite tiring. The technician couldn't help but say, what's wrong with me doing this? It's dirty. Big brother, don't be like this. The technician couldn't hang on much longer. Sis, don't be angry. I'm doing this for your own good. I'm trying to reason with you. Bro, don't be like this. How about I give you a clock and you do it again? This isn't about the clock. We'll talk about that later. Right now, we're talking about your choice, your life, and your future. Huang Lei's saliva flew everywhere, and the technician cried, Brother, I was wrong. I'll treat it as you playing for nothing today. I don't want this money anymore. I'll leave, okay? No, I'm not short of money. I'll pay you for another 2 hours. Let me talk to you. Brother, I was really wrong. Please let me go. The technician knelt on the ground and kowtowed to Huang Lei. She didn't dare to make the guest angry, so she could only do this. Why are you kneeling? Don't you know that there is gold under your knees? The technician thought to himself, why didn't I hear you say that when I was kneeling for you to lick? Come, get up. I haven't finished yet. Huang Lei was about to teach this woman a lesson, but at this moment, his room's door was suddenly kicked open. The sound of the door being kicked open was very loud, scaring Huang Lei. The technician was also frightened. She curled up on the ground, thinking that it was the police who came to check the room. A few burly men had already rushed in, and they seemed to be charging at Huang Lei. Without any hesitation, Huang Lei pointed 2 fingers at the burly man at the front. He hadn't been practicing martial arts properly, so Li Fan taught him 3 major moves, which were eye-piercing, chest-grabbing, and crotch-kicking. Huang Lei would practice these 3 moves every day, and it could be said that he had some small success in it. His 2 fingers immediately poked the eyes of the burly man at the front. The man screamed in pain as he covered his eyes and kneeled on the ground. Huang Lei didn't even have time to wear his pants. He jumped to the ground and was about to run, but he was pressed down by a few other burly men on the ground. What are you all doing? It's not like I'm not paying. Is there a need to do this? Shut up. A burly man kicked Huang Lei's face, and he immediately fainted. A burly man walked over and put a sack over Huang Lei's head. Then he carried his body and left the room. Before the burly man left, he pointed at the technician and said fiercely, You didn't see anything, right? I was asleep. I don't know anything. The technician said again and again. The burly man followed him out, and the technician let out a long sigh of relief. It seems like I really can't continue in this line of work. Damn it. Not to mention that I was played for free, I was almost scared to death. What happened to that man just now? Did he offend the underworld? When Huang Lei woke up, it was already night time. Perhaps it was night time, because he saw that the surrounding was dark and the light was very bad. He was tied to a chair with his hands behind his back, and his body was still naked. You're awake. A man in a hoodie with a mask in front of him stuffed his mobile phone into his arms. Call your elder brother. Guys, my elder brother is very busy. If there's anything, just tell me. Huang Lei looked at these burly men in front of him and knew that they didn't come with good intentions. Two of them were still adjusting the pistols in their hands. Huang Lei felt that they looked like two real guns under the dim light. Who are these people? They are definitely not ordinary kidnappers. After all, it was the first time for kidnappers to kidnap people from a gun room. This is a big matter, my elder brother will arrange it. But I can make the decision for small matters. You want money, right? This is not a big matter for us. I can make the decision. Why don't you let me go first and we can talk about it? Cut the crap. The man in the hoodie grabbed a 5-shot pistol and hit Huang Lei's chest with the butt. This hit made Huang Lei's chest hurt, and he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. He saw stars in front of him, and his vision turned black. This guy is really ruthless. He's not a good guy. Huang Lei endured for a long time, and the strong nausea made him want to vomit. He desperately endured the pain. When he wanted to slow down, the man in the hoodie slapped his face. Call your elder brother, now. Ouch, elder brother, let's talk. How can you hit me? Huang Lei said, how can I make a phone call with my hands tied? Elder brother, do you want me to lick him? My tongue is not so long, and I've never practiced this kind of thing. Call, I'll make the call. The man in the hoodie picked up the phone. Speak now, or you'll never be able to speak. Speak, I'll speak. Huang Lei rolled his eyes, but my elder brother's name is quite hard to pronounce. I may not remember it. The 5-shot pistol hit Huang Lei's forehead. Hey, don't say it. I remember it again. Chapter 300. Mr. Li, right? After answering the phone, the hooded man went straight to the point. Your brother is in my hands. Come to the first phone booth at the 3rd intersection of Jianggan District in 15 minutes. One more person means 1 minute less. Just wait to collect your brother's body. After saying that, the hooded man hung up the phone. He disassembled the phone, broke the SIM card, and smashed the phone. In this way, Li Fan couldn't use the GPS to find them. On the other side, Li Fan frowned and hung up the phone. What happened? Murong Ying was practicing martial arts with Li Fan. He had grown so fast recently that even Murong Ying was jealous. The two of them had finally practiced for a while, but a phone call interrupted this rare warm moment. Li Fan struggled to crawl out from under Murong Ying's feet and put the phone in his pocket. Nothing. I won't fight today. I'm going out. Where are you going? Murong Ying furrowed her brows. She was a little unhappy. Li Fan was getting busier and busier. He didn't seem like a high school student anymore. It's a personal matter. You can wait at home. I'll be back for dinner. After saying that, Li Fan jumped out of the window. This annoying guy. Can't he just leave through the door? Murong Ying couldn't do anything to Li Fan now. This guy was getting more and more stubborn. Did the son-in-law go out again? Taizhu happened to walk in with a plate of food. She had prepared an exquisite nutritious meal for Miss and the son-in-law, but it would probably take a few tries to heat it up. Li Fan used Qinggong along the way and finally arrived at Jianggan District on time. He thought for a moment. The other party should know his approximate location and calculated the fastest time he could get here. These people should also know his identity as a martial artist. It could be said that they knew some information about him like the back of their hand. Who could these people be? Li Fan couldn't help but mutter. This matter must have been planned. However, no matter what the other party did, he would receive it all. Furthermore, Li Fan would never let off anyone who dared to lay a hand on his brother. What Li Fan hated the most were those who didn't dare to come after him, but the people around him. Towards such people, Li Fan only wanted to say one thing. Cowards, fuck your grandpa. The phone booth was right in front of him. Just as Li Fan arrived, his phone rang. He immediately picked up the phone. Sure enough, it was the kidnapper's voice again. Looks like you're punctual. The voice on the phone made Li Fan's fist itch. In that case, our Mr. Li may be able to do better. 10 minutes, hurry to the riverside, there will be a boat waiting for you. In 10 minutes, whether you arrive or not, the boat will leave. That's the only way you can save your good-for-nothing brother. Li Fan threw the phone away and immediately used his strongest Qinggong, dear scamper. If it wasn't for Li Fan's Qinggong, He might not be able to reach the riverside in 10 minutes. Even if he drove, it would take half an hour to reach the riverside. When he arrived at the riverside, the boat had already left the port. There was still a distance of lake water between it and Li Fan. The sparkling lake water reflected the moonlight, as if it was mocking Li Fan. The boatman didn't care about Li Fan at all, and even gave Li Fan a middle finger. Humph! Li Fan stood by the lake and snorted coldly. He bent his body slightly, and the true energy in his body was poured into his calf. Li Fan's body bent, and then his body suddenly bounced up like a rocket. In the blink of an eye, he jumped from the shore, and in the blink of an eye, he was in the air. His body paused in the air, and then both his feet bounced back, and he stepped on the air. The collision with the air was like colliding with the ground. Li Fan felt like he had a physical body, and his body once again jumped far away. Almost in the blink of an eye, he was in the air above the boat. Li Fan could use Qigong to float on the water, but he chose to use the method of jumping in the air. This was a move that he created by combining Yang Kai's cloud ladder. Yang Kai's cloud ladder was to use the left foot to step on the right foot, which produced a push. But Li Fan was different. He directly used his true energy to collide with the air, which gave him the power to move forward. This method sounded very fantastical, but for an expert in the use of true energy like Li Fan, it was something that could be done. However, every time he kicked, it would become weaker and weaker. Li Fan's current limit was 2 kicks, and the third time would be too weak to kick. But for Li Fan, 2 times was enough. The boatman was dumbfounded. This was the first time he saw such a person. Is he still a human? He actually jumped from such a far place to here. That was a distance of nearly 100 meters. How is this possible? This is simply inconceivable. Bang! Li Fan's feet heavily stepped on the boat, causing the boat to shake on the water. The boatman was so scared that he quickly held the rudder. Do I need to buy a ticket? Li Fan looked at the boatman and laughed. No, no need. The boatman quickly waved his hand. He was actually a boatman. Someone hired him to wait here to pick up someone. Li Fan did not want to vent his anger on this boatman. He quietly stood on the boat, waiting for the boat to approach his destination. At this time, Li Fan's phone rang. The call was from an unknown number. I hope our Mr. Li has successfully boarded the boat. Thank you for your concern. I will go and see you now. Li Fan suppressed his anger and said, I hope you and my brother are alive. Mr. Li has a big temper. The hooded man's voice on the phone was full of sarcasm. I know Mr. Li is a famous martial artist, a great master. The next time I see you, it may be really dangerous. So, I made some insurance for myself. What insurance? Before you come, the boatman will give you a pill. After you take this pill, I will let you continue your journey. While talking, the boatman handed over a pill. Li Fan looked at it and already knew what it was. Cartilage powder? Bingo, that's right. The hooded man seemed to be very happy. I also spent a lot of effort to get it. Don't worry and eat it. Everything about you is under my supervision. If you don't eat it, not only the boat will not come, but your brother will also immediately die here. Don't make things difficult for Lei, I will eat it. Li Fan took the pill and swallowed it in one gulp. Are you relieved now? Good, 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 this is a real man. The hooded man was overjoyed. You will see your brother soon, I will keep my word. The call ended. In less than 5 minutes, the boat docked on a small island in the middle of a lake. Chapter 301. The island was not very big. There were several houses on it, which seemed to be for tourists. The river in City A was very big, and there were many islands like this on it. If the other party did not tell him the location, Li Fan would not be able to find this place in a short time. Li Fan felt that there seemed to be a huge invisible net, and he was caught in it. Please go to the island, little brother. The boatman docked the boat on the shore, let Li Fan go ashore, and then drove away. There was rolling river water all around. In this season, the river water was very cold. If Li Fan wanted to leave, he must have a boat. If he used lightness skill, he would fall into the lake within 100 meters. If he swam, The river water in this season was bone-chilling, and he was afraid that he would freeze to death. Like lightness skill, there was also a limit to lightness skill. Running on the water, with the help of the lightness of the true chi in the body, plus the inertia when running on the shore, people could run a distance of 100 meters on the river water. But the river water was the river water, and the human weight could not completely break the law of physics. Even if Li Fan used the sky-swallowing toad, he could at most glide twice the distance on the river. Now they were obviously too far away from the land, more than a kilometer away. If he wanted to go back to the shore, the answer could only be 3 words: impossible. In the darkness, there seemed to be a big hand silently grasping at Li Fan. He let his heart sink. No matter what the move was, he would take it all. The island was full of dead leaves, covering the ground. When Li Fan's shoes fell on it, it would make a squeaking sound, like the wailing of the leaves. The moon also quietly hid behind the dark clouds, covering the island with a dark feeling, which made people feel a little uneasy. Li Fan took a few deep breaths, feeling that the night air was cold. Lei Zi, please don't let anything happen to you. Li Fan was praying in his heart. Although Huang Lei didn't know any martial arts, and sometimes he was particularly improper, he had followed his brother from the beginning. There was only one principle between brothers, and that was to never abandon each other. No matter what price he had to pay, Li Fan had to rescue Huang Lei. The moon peeked out slightly, and the moonlight shone on the island, illuminating the small houses. These small houses were all classic wooden buildings, and they gave off a feeling of vicissitudes. At the same time, Li Fan's phone rang. He picked it up and heard the man in the hoodie sneering. It seems that Mr. Li is quite punctual. In that case, I should open the door to welcome Mr. Li. The call ended, and a small wooden house lit up with a dim yellow light, as if summoning Li Fan. Li Fan's body lightly leaped, and with 2 leaps, he arrived in front of the small wooden hut. It seemed that the hut was really waiting for Li Fan. The door of the small wooden hut was open, and the light inside was still dim. Li Fan stepped on the wooden steps and walked into the hut. Huang Lei was sitting in the small wooden hut, but his butt was naked, and he was tied to a chair. Next to him stood a man in a hoodie with a mask. The man in the hoodie was sitting on a sofa, playing with a doll in his hand, and there was a 5-shot pistol on his lap. Li Fan felt that the scene was a bit disharmonious. A doll and a 5-shot pistol were 2 completely different concepts. Could it be that this fellow was a psychopath? Next to the man in the hoodie, there were 2 gunmen with the same mask. They stood behind Huang Lei, and their muzzles were pointing at the back of Huang Lei's head. After Li Fan walked into the hut, a red dot appeared on his neck. Li Fan's heart sank. This time, the treatment was really good. They even prepared a sniper for him. I've heard a lot about you, Mr. Li. The man in the hoodie didn't raise his head and said slowly, although I've heard rumors about you, I'm still a bit surprised to see you in person. Mr. Li is really young. Hey. I'm okay. Li Fan was neither servile nor overbearing. With his hands behind his back, he stood in front of the man in the hoodie and lightly said, I'm here. Can you let go of my brother first, and then we can talk about it? TSK. What a deep brotherhood. The man in the hoodie seemed to sneer, I admire you very much, but I can't promise you. Mr. Li's strength, I've heard of it. Su Chen's territory was completely destroyed by you. I heard that even that Guan Wenbao was knocked off his horse by you. As for me, I'm just an ordinary nobody. If you want to beat me, I don't have the ability to resist. I'm born with no sense of security, so I need to give myself some insurance. While speaking, he picked up his 5-shot rifle with his left hand and pressed it on Huang Lei's temple. Although this person is a scum, he still has some use. There's no need to say such useless nonsense. Li Fan's eyes were like a torch, staring at the man in the hoodie in front of him. What's your purpose of calling me here? Mr. Li, as a martial arts master, you're interfering in the underworld's affairs. Isn't that a bit inappropriate? The man in the hoodie laughed. It's not that I want to trouble you, but the people in the underworld are not satisfied with you. Someone is now offering money to kill you. I also have to make money to support my family. Mr. Li, you must understand, right? Then can I ask, who wants to kill me? That won't do. Don't look at me like this, I'm a man of my word. The man in the hoodie laughed. Keeping my word is my basic professional principle. So, it's impossible to leak my employer's information. That's really a pity. Li Fan sighed. If you explain, I can spare your life. The man in the hoodie stared, and at the same time, the sniper rifle had already fired. Li Fan's body moved like lightning and disappeared in front of the man in the hoodie. Without any hesitation, the man in the hoodie raised his 5-shot rifle and fired. Bang! Bang! The first gunshot came from the sniper rifle. The bullet hit the ground where Li Fan was standing. At this moment, in front of Li Fan, there was a row of bullet. The man in the hoodie was very scary. His judgment was very accurate. When Li Fan used the spirit monkey to escape, he had already fired. Although his speed was not as fast as Li Fan, the bullets were fast enough. At that moment, Li Fan's heart was beating fast. If he was not careful, he would be shot. Great sage picking the stars. The time around Li Fan seemed to have stopped. His hands stretched out like lightning and caught all the bullets in front of him. Wonderful. The man in the hoodie's 5-shot rifle once again pressed against Huang Lei's temple. However, your brother is going to meet the king of hell. Chapter 302. Li Fan's eyes widened. The man in the hoodie's fingers were slowly closing. He was not deliberately slowing down, but in Li Fan's eyes, everything had slowed down. At that moment, Li Fan could clearly see Huang Lei's twisted expression due to fear. At such a moment, no one would not be afraid. Even if it was Li Fan himself, with a gun pointed at his temple, he would probably be so nervous that he would twitch. However, Li Fan would not let Lei die. He suddenly raised his right hand and activated the power of the sky-devouring toad. His palm erupted with a strong true qi, and the wind generated from his palm hit the man in the hoodie. The wind generated from Li Fan's palm was not something that an ordinary person could withstand. If an ordinary person were to be hit by Li Fan's palm, they would definitely be smashed to pieces. However, in order to protect his brother, Li Fan did not care so much. The man in the hoodie's body was sent flying and smashed into the wooden wall behind him. His body somersaulted in the air and landed firmly on the ground. At that moment, a metal coat appeared on his body. It was unknown when he had put it on. The man in the hoodie moved his arms, and a mechanical sound could be heard from his body. Not bad. So, this is Qigong. Li Fan stretched out his hands and knocked out the 2 gunmen. Then, he kicked Huang Lei's chair to the blind spot to avoid being hit by the snipers. All these actions were completed at the same time. Li Fan raised his head and looked at the man in the hoodie who was standing outside. An autumn rain also arrived, and the raindrops fell on the hooded man's body. This is a personal armor developed by the United States. The man in the hoodie stood in the rain and looked at Li Fan with a proud smile. The metal armor was gray and a bit dark. The raindrops flowed down the armor and reflected the ice blue lights on the armor, making it look very high-tech. Li Fan noticed that on his shoulder, there was a unique logo with a row of English symbols, Storm. This suit of armor can vastly increase the fighting prowess of a soldier. Compared to technology like this, your energy arts aren't even worth mentioning. The hooded man seemed to be very confident in his own strength. He reached out with his mechanical gauntlet and grabbed onto a nearby tree. He only used a little bit of force and the tree was directly broken by his palm. Do you see? This is technology. Have you ever heard of the saying that technology is the #1 productive force of mankind? No matter who you are, you must pay the price for touching my brother's people. Li Fan adjusted the true qi in his body. He let all 36,000 pores on his body begin to breathe in and out at the same time, speeding up the flow of true qi in his body and accelerating his metabolism. He had never dealt with such a warframe expert before. Li Fan had to go all out. His heart was like an officially operating V8 engine. Li Fan actually felt a little excited. His eyes were fixed on the hooded man in front of him. He didn't want to miss a single detail. The sniper was still lurking nearby, and Li Fan maintained his blind spot. Although I want to play with you, my mission is to kill you, the hooded man said and grabbed a tactical shotgun from behind his back. This tactical shotgun had a clip on the chamber, and there were 8 red shotgun shells in it. There was a tactical flashlight on the butt of the shotgun, and it shone dazzlingly in the rainy night. Goodbye. The hooded man suddenly shone the flashlight on Li Fan's face. At that moment, the strong light blinded Li Fan's eyes. Bang! The hooded man immediately fired a shot, and the bullet slanted as if it wanted to swallow Li Fan. Although Li Fan had closed his eyes, his hearing was still very sensitive. He heard the sound of the bullets tearing through the air and arriving in front of Li Fan. Li Fan's body suddenly fell to the ground, and the bullet grazed his scalp. Toad strike. Spirit Toad saw. As Li Fan's body bounced into the air, the hooded man fired a shot at the spot where Li Fan had just landed. Li Fan spun in the air. While he was in the air, he pressed down on the ground where the hooded man was standing. Heaven-swallowing toad, divine toad destroyer. The wind from the palm was released and instantly pressed down on the hooded man's body. The hooded man didn't seem to be able to block it completely. His body knelt on the ground, and a huge palm print appeared under his body. This palm print was 1 square meter, and it was completely condensed by Li Fan's true chi. The wind from this palm was enough to crush a person into meat paste. However, only the armor on the hooded man's body was slightly deformed, and he was still intact. He crouched on the ground and fired 3 shots at Li Fan in the air. Li Fan used 1,000-pound drop in the air and instantly fell to the ground, dodging the 3 bullets. However, the hooded man's muzzle was already pointed at the ground and fired a shot. Bang! The shrapnel arrived in front of Li Fan. He stretched out his hands in front of him, and his powerful true chi acted like a protective armor, blocking the shrapnel. Sky-devouring toad was Li Fan's strongest state. In this state, he could use 200% of his true chi. At the same time, Li Fan's true chi was 3 times that of an ordinary martial artist. His blood flowed faster, and his brain was in a state of excitement. This is strange. The hooded man looked at the shrapnel floating in front of Li Fan, as if it was stuck in an invisible wall. Finally, he was surprised. Qigong can actually be this strong. There's something more interesting. Do you want to see? As Li Fan spoke, he flicked his palm, and the shrapnel in front of him flew away. The hooded man reacted quickly and immediately hid behind a big tree. Dang, dang, dang. The shrapnel was embedded in the tree, and it was deeply embedded. If it hit a person, it would be enough to turn that person into a sieve. What a surprise! The hooded man said while reloading the shotgun, "I didn't expect you to have such fighting power. I have to admit, I underestimated you. Your time has come." Li Fan took a step back, avoiding the sniper bullet in front of him. At the same time, he waved his hand, and a shrapnel flew out, hitting the sniper in the distance and knocking him to the ground. 2 shots allowed Li Fan to find the position of the sniper. "I have to admit, fighting with you is quite interesting." The hooded man suddenly appeared from behind the tree and fired a shot. Li Fan once again blocked the shrapnel and reflected it back, but the hooded man dodged it by moving. "It seems that I have to talk to the employer and increase the price. It's useless. You're not my opponent." Li Fan said, "Your gun is useless against me." As soon as Li Fan's voice fell, a tear gas suddenly rolled under him. Chapter 303. Poochie. The tear gas burst out with suffocating smoke, but Li Fan immediately closed all the pores on his body and jumped out of the smoke, landing on the roof of the wooden house. But at this moment, Li Fan frowned. He extended his hand and grabbed an arrow that was shot in front of him. The arrowhead of the arrow suddenly split open, and an electrode popped out and hit Li Fan's shoulder. It was just a small electrode, but it exploded with an unbearable power. Li Fan felt as if his body was bitten by millions of mosquitoes, causing him to kneel on the ground in pain. His body trembled uncontrollably, and even saliva flowed out from the corner of his mouth. As the tear gas gradually dissipated, the hooded man stood in the rain with a composite bow in his hand and looked at Li Fan. "This is really unexpected." The hooded man looked at Li Fan with surprise in his eyes. "The electrode on this arrow can take down an elephant. But you are still standing. Unbelievable." Li Fan endured the strong discomfort in his body, stood on the roof and pulled out the electrode on his shoulder. The hooded man had already pulled back his bow and aimed at Li Fan. Let us test how long you can last. As soon as the hooded man finished speaking, he shot 3 arrows at Li Fan in a row. If it was any other time, Li Fan's great sage star picking skill would be able to deal with these 3 arrows easily. But the current Li Fan's body is very weak. He only managed to catch 2 arrows, and the 3rd arrow pierced his calf. The strength of this arrow is very strong, and it pierced through his calf just like that. Li Fan finally couldn't help but kneel on the roof, but he used one hand to support his body. What a warrior! If we weren't enemies, I'd really have to praise you. The hooded man couldn't help but laugh. However, I also like hunting experts like you the most. With that, the hooded man took out an arrow from a metal box beside him and narked it on the composite bow. At this moment, Li Fan felt that the whole world has slowed down. It was so quiet around him that he could almost hear himself bleeding. Weakness filled his body, and the numbness from the electric current still lingered in Li Fan's body. But for some reason, Li Fan felt that this electric current was also a form of energy, similar to true energy. Li Fan had a strange idea. If he could control his true qi, would he be able to control this electric current? As the world slowed down, Li Fan began to control the electric current that entered his body, letting it circulate in his body in his own way. At this moment, there was a huge thunderbolt in the sky, as if it was going to tear the night sky in half. That kind of thunderous shock penetrated deep into the bone marrow. The hooded man had already fired his arrow. This time, it was aimed at Li Fan's head. Li Fan's eyes emitted a blue electric light. He exhaled and felt as if he was struck by lightning. Dodge. Electricity. Dear. With one hand on the ground, Li Fan flipped his body and kicked the arrow away with an electric current. By turning the electric current into his own strength, Li Fan strengthened his body, but at the same time, it also brought a terrible burden to his body. He endured the tearing pain in his body and stood on the roof, looking at the hooded man below him. Rushing thunder kick. Li Fan's body jumped down from the roof, and the whip kick carried the electric current, aiming directly at the hooded man's neck. The hooded man threw away the bow and arrow and used his hands to push away Li Fan's calf. Bang! The strong electric current and Li Fan's kick immediately sent the hooded man's body flying more than 3 meters away. His feet left deep grooves on the ground, and the rainwater splashed up. Interesting. The hooded man felt the electric current on his palm, and his hand felt numb. What a scary man. He can actually turn the electric current into his own strength. Looks like I have to deal with you seriously. After saying that, the hooded man kicked the iron box next to him. The iron box immediately bounced open, and the hooded man stretched out his hand. 2 rod-like objects popped out from the box and fell into his hand. He combined them together and then flicked his hand. Shua. Blades popped out from the 2 parts of the rod, and a double-edged sword appeared in his hand. God knows how many weapons were stored in this box, and they provided the hooded man with powerful attack power. The hunt begins. Remember my name, I am Warhammer. After saying that, he bent his knees, and the machine wrapped around his knees began to operate. The man named Warhammer jumped up to a height of more than 5 meters. Like a cannonball, the double-edged sword in his hand spun and slashed toward Li Fan's waist. Li Fan's body also bounced and jumped into the air, dodging the blade of Warhammer. As for Warhammer, he turned around in the air and opened his palm toward Li Fan. A compressed hunting net popped out from his hand and bloomed in the air, directly covering Li Fan. Li Fan's body was in the air, and he had nowhere to hide. However, he raised his right foot high and slashed down. Lightning flashed, as if another lightning bolt had struck down. The hunting net was directly split in half by Li Fan. What a powerful force! Even the battle-hardened Warhammer couldn't help but feel surprised. In just a short moment, the power of electric current was fully utilized by Li Fan, causing Warhammer to suffer losses time and time again. Such a prey was a bit tricky. Li Fan once again appeared in front of Warhammer. His body rotated and kicked out with a whirlwind kick, bringing with it a blue electric light. This was the lightning deer's rushing thunder kick. Every time it kicked, it would bring with it the power of electricity, greatly enhancing Li Fan's attack power. The Warhammer disassembled its own blade, divided into 2, and constantly blocked Li Fan's rushing thunder feet. Warhammer still didn't panic. As he retreated, he searched for Li Fan's weak point. Li Fan saw through Warhammer's goal. Although this fellow was battle-hardened, Li Fan was the true expert in combat. Li Fan deliberately revealed an opening. Warhammer's eyes flashed, thinking that he had found the right opportunity. He immediately slashed out with both hands, and the two blades slashed toward Li Fan's neck. Dear lock! Li Fan grabbed Warhammer's wrist with both hands, suppressing his attack. At the same time, Li Fan twisted his waist and kicked Warhammer's chest. 9 deer soars to the sky. 9 kicks in a row, causing Warhammer's armor to cave in. His armor was now deformed quite badly. Warhammer's other hand suddenly burst out with a force, pushing Li Fan's body away. Li Fan's body flipped in the air and landed firmly on the ground. With one foot on the ground, he raised his other leg and curled it in front of him, faintly emitting lightning. Warhammer, no matter who sent you, I won't be lenient. Li Fan raised his right hand and extended 3 fingers. Within 3 moves, you will lose. Chapter 304. I don't know where you get your confidence from. Warhammer looked at Li Fan as if he was looking at a dead man, as if he didn't take Li Fan's words to heart at all. However, Li Fan kicked off with one leg and suddenly jumped down from the air. Good. Warhammer didn't panic and kicked his metal box. A long staff popped out from the box and landed in Warhammer's hand. Warhammer shook the staff, and a blade popped out from it, turning into the shape of a sickle. As Li Fan landed, Warhammer's sickle met him head-on. Li Fan's body spun in the air, and his right leg drew a crescent arc, carrying electricity with it as he kicked the sickle away. Then, his left leg spun again and kicked Warhammer's neck. Warhammer's body was sent spinning by Li Fan's kick, and he crashed into a nearby tree, breaking the trunk. Warhammer's body fell down, but Li Fan had somehow appeared under him. At the same time, Li Fan raised his right leg high, and the sole of his foot pushed Warhammer's body up into the air. Warhammer had a bad premonition. He reached out to grab Li Fan's neck, as if he was going to snap Li Fan's neck. Warhammer's body was very strong. He weighed 100 kilograms and had muscles that could kill. However, Li Fan's movements were faster. He suddenly swung his right leg, carrying electricity with it, and kicked Warhammer's body to the ground. Bang! A crater appeared on the ground. Not only did Warhammer feel dizzy from the impact, but he also spat out a mouthful of blood. At the same time, his body was continuously electrocuted, causing him to twitch. Warhammer temporarily lost the ability to move. Li Fan raised 3 fingers and said again, I said, you will lose within 3 moves. He stretched out his right leg and pressed it against Warhammer's neck. Although Warhammer's neck was protected by the armor, as long as Li Fan exerted force, his neck would be snap. However, Warhammer did not panic. He simply extended his hand and pressed a fingerprint switch on his body. The blue light on his chest immediately turned red and began to flicker rapidly. What do you mean? Li Fan had a bad feeling about this. Within a minute, everything within a kilometer radius of me will be razed to the ground. Warhammer said with a smile, you can still make it if you run now. 55, 54, 53. Li Fan did not hesitate. He immediately jumped into the wooden hut, took off the clothes of a bandit, and put them on Huang Lei. Then, he carried him on his back and ran. 1 minute was more than enough time for Li Fan. Within a radius of 1,000 meters, the entire island would be blown away. Li Fan moved quickly. Without any hesitation, he left the island and landed on the river. Before leaving the island, Li Fan casually broke off a large branch and held it in his hand. Every time he ran about 100 meters on the water, he would throw a branch into the water. Then, he would step on the swaying branch and move forward another 100 meters. After repeating this a dozen times, Li Fan landed on the opposite shore. After Li Fan left the island, Warhammer reached out his hand and deactivated the self-destruct device on his body. With this self-destruct ability, Li Fan should not be able to get close to the island again. He really did not expect that he would fail this mission. Martial fighter her, interesting. Warhammer smiled and slowly sat up. A few pieces of the armor on his body fell to the ground. However, I have never failed a mission. Next time, I will definitely take your head. He looked at the dark river in the distance and said coldly. The rain became heavier. Li Fan sent Huang Lei back to the billiard hall overnight. It's not peaceful recently. Don't go out too much. After putting Huang Lei down, Li Fan told him. Big brother, who wants to mess with us? When Huang Lei thought of the scene on the island, he felt some lingering fear. Even a single soldier armor, this kind of black technology, has appeared. The other party is definitely not easy to deal with. I don't know about this. Li Fan is also not clear about the other party's identity, but they don't come with good intentions. We just have to be careful. Big brother. I can't stay here. Huang Lei now has some money. If he were to stay in the billiard hall every day, he would definitely suffocate to death. Can't you change the method? How about you find me a bath center in Jianggan district? I can also stay there. Stay your sister. Li Fan slapped Huang Lei's forehead. Stop it for me. What time is it now? Still thinking about prostitution? This is not about prostitution. Big brother, you are still young. You don't understand. Huang Lei covered his red and swollen forehead and explained, I saw a technician in a bath center. That big butt, that thick waist, don't even mention how attractive it is. Li Fan was speechless. This guy's aesthetic is already at the alien level. Big brother, really, you don't understand the charm of this kind of woman, this kind of sensuality, this kind of taste, TSK. Fuck off. If you say any more useless words, I will slap you to death. Li Fan felt that it is time to correct Huang Lei's worldview. Can you be like a normal man and like some beautiful women? Big brother, although you are the big brother, I really have to say this. Unexpectedly, Huang Lei said seriously, everyone's concept of beauty is different. Big brother's beauty may be another kind, but my beauty is the beauty of the Tang dynasty. So, big brother, I am retro. Retro my ass. Li Fan had an urge to kill. In short, you better behave for the next few days and control the thing in your crotch. Otherwise, I will castrate you. No, big brother, our family still has no roots. Huang Lei quickly begged, my family has only one son for 3 generations, please don't let it end with me. Then you better behave. Don't make me worry. Li Fan said, if they use your body to lure me out next time, I will really be at my wit's end. It is important to smash the cannon, but if you are dead, the cannon can't do anything, understand? Yes, big brother is right, then I will bear with it. Can you bear it? Li Fan was somewhat confused. It's okay, if I really can't bear it, I like the chihuahua in the noodle shop next door. Fuck off. Big brother, what are you thinking? Huang Lei quickly explained, I mean, if I really can't bear it, I will play with the puppy to pass the time. Anyway, for the next few days, you can't smash the cannon or play with the puppy, understand? Understood. Huang Lei was still very obedient in front of Li Fan. Since his big brother had spoken, he could only follow orders. But how should he spend the next few days? It seemed that he had to pamper his dear 5th young lady again. Li Fan reminded Huang Lei a few more times, and specially went to look for Guan Wenbao, asking him to keep an eye on Huang Lei, before he went home with a peace of mind. Chapter 305. Storm. Liu Xinnan sat opposite Li Fan, stretching out her long legs and gently placed them on Li Fan's knee. In order to investigate the hooded man, Warhammer, Li Fan found Liu Xinnan, who should have the most authority in this area. But Liu Xinnan called him to a coffee shop. There was no one else in this coffee shop except for the two of them. Today, Liu Xinnan was dressed a bit wild. She was wearing a white shirt with a small vest and a pair of denim shorts, revealing her long legs. Isn't she cold in this cold weather? Women were really creatures with powerful combat abilities. This organization. How did you get involved with them? Liu Xinnan put her leg on Li Fan's knee and asked while stirring the coffee in the cup. I don't know, what's wrong with this organization? Li Fan tried to move Liu Xinnan's leg away, but Liu Xinnan put her leg back. Li Fan was too lazy to tease her leg, so he focused on Storm. This organization is not easy to deal with. You should know their name, Storm. What the hell is that? Do you know about mercenaries? Liu Xinnan asked. I've heard of them. Li Fan nodded. They are people who collect money to fight. Yes, that's a good summary. As expected of the man I like. Liu Xinnan smiled sweetly and winked at Li Fan. Damn, this girl, can't she be more serious? There are big and small mercenary organizations. Those small mercenaries are struggling on the line of life and death every day. Some of the larger mercenary organizations were basically tyrannical in the international arena. Even some countries will hire them privately. Storm is such an arrogant organization. Sounds like it's pretty powerful. They're more than powerful. There's no mission they can't complete. Liu Xinnan was a little worried. They were once hired to destroy a country, and they did it. Fuck. Who found such a powerful organization to deal with me? Li Fan muttered to himself. He had quite a few enemies. He glanced sideways at Liu Xinnan. Don't tell me it's Yang Ruining from your hometown? It is indeed possible. Yang Ruining has the financial resources to hire them. Liu Xinnan did not explain. If the storm really wants to deal with you, you really have to be careful. To be able to escape from storm's clutches, you're quite impressive. However, if you meet that Pandora hunter, Warhammer, you're probably dead meat. I just gave him a good beating. Li Fan blinked his eyes and said, he is quite sturdy. Huh. When Liu Xinnan heard this, she was taken aback and was stunned. Are you sure? Are you kidding me? How could I be wrong? Li Fan stretched his muscles and bones. This kid was wearing some kind of single soldier battle armor, and he even had a strange box. It was quite tricky, but I still managed to deal with him. It's good to stretch my muscles. Liu Xinnan was stunned for a moment. After a long time, she said, his equipment is called Pandora's combat kit. Especially his box, which is called Pandora's box. It is said that there are 99 weapons inside. None of the prey that he has set his eyes on have survived until now. His equipment is indeed powerful, but I'm not afraid of him. But it's not a good idea to always be targeted by storm. I'm going to attack the root of the problem and deal with them, Li Fan said confidently. No, they're a bit far away. It's okay. I'm fast. Li Fan patted his chest. It's called godly Taibao. I'm not afraid no matter how far they are. Tell me, where are they? I'll go meet them. The Republic of Congo. Then, let's talk about our business. Li Fan coughed dryly. How's the progress on your side? I've made some breakthroughs. Liu Xinnan took out a stack of documents and placed it in front of him. This is quite interesting. There seems to be a bunch of numbers hidden inside. Now that I look at it, it seems to be a set of coordinates. As long as we can confirm the coordinates, we'll be able to find the location of the dragon's lair. That's good, I'll wait for your news. Li Fan tried to remove Liu Xinnan's leg but failed again. This woman was very persistent. Speaking of which, something happened recently. Liu Xinnan's gaze fell on Li Fan, sizing him up. Li Fan felt a little uneasy. The people from the yellow uniform group seemed to have been beaten up by someone called Little Tyrant. Are you talking about the incident at the hospital? Li Fan secretly heaved a sigh of relief. So she wasn't talking about the incident where he instigated a fight between the Yellow Uniform Regiment and Vanguard. Speaking of which, Fu Fan should be a member of the Red Dragon Society. Then did he get Liu Xinnan's permission for him to do this? Then they can only blame themselves for asking for a beating. Li Fan didn't hide anything and said straightforwardly, handing out human lives in the hospital, me beating them up is considered a light punishment. Why? The Yellow Uniform Regiment is somewhat related to you. Don't tell me you're here to settle the score with me. No, I haven't been on good terms with the Yellow Uniform Regiment recently anyway. Liu Xinnan laughed bitterly. Now the Yellow Uniform Regiment and Vanguard are trying to take me down. Isn't the Red Dragon Society doing quite well? Are you afraid of them? It's hard for one family to dominate. Although Liu Xinnan said so, her eyes were filled with ambition. But the Red Dragon Society has been around for so many years, how can we be suppressed by the two of them? If someone wants to mess with me, Liu Xinnan, I'll make them pay the price. As for the Yellow Uniform Regiment, although they have a lot of people, they're still a motley crew. You've seen for yourself what they earn, it's not even worth mentioning. So you're saying that you still want to wipe out the Yellow Uniform Regiment and Vanguard? Li Fan said, no wonder the Yellow Uniform Regiment and Vanguard are working together. I didn't say that, you're just making wild guesses. Liu Xinnan smiled slyly, causing Li Fan to look down on her. Anyway, you can teach the Yellow Uniform Regiment a lesson. But Wang Baiqiang is a very petty person, you have to be careful. He'll definitely think of a way to take revenge on you. When that happens, I might not be able to help you. That doesn't sound like something Miss Liu would say. I'm very busy now, okay? Liu Xinnan rolled her eyes. Besides, you're so powerful, you should be the one helping me, okay? But if you can be my boyfriend, no one in the entire A city will dare to touch you. Liu Xinnan looked at Li Fan very seriously and said such a sentence, causing Li Fan to be stunned. Miss Liu, you're not joking, right? Chapter 306. Look at me. Do I look like I'm joking? Liu Xinnan looked at Li Fan very seriously. Li Fan's words almost angered her to death. Yes. Yes, your ass. Liu Xinnan glared at Li Fan fiercely. Li Fan felt that she seemed to be very angry. Come on, you're the daughter of a rich family. Li Fan reminded Liu Xinnan, don't make this kind of joke. What if I accidentally take it seriously? How do you know that I'm not serious? Liu Xinnan rolled her eyes. Do you think I'm not good enough for you? Damn, how can you be so smart? You guessed it right away. Li Fan clapped his hands and said excitedly, you're really impressive. You're such a bad person. How can you compare with such a pure and kind brother like me? Bah. Liu Xinnan spat fiercely. She would be a ghost if she believed Li Fan. I don't care. Anyway, you're going to see my dad with me soon. Damn, why do you want to see your dad? Li Fan was not interested in old men. He was even less interested in seeing an old man. I told my dad that you're my boyfriend. He asked me to take you home to have a meal with me these 2 days. Liu Xinnan said casually while trimming her fingernails. Damn, what did you say? Li Fan almost jumped up. Are you kidding me? Why would I joke with you? I'm not a crosstalk comedian. Liu Xinnan rolled her eyes fiercely. She was very dissatisfied with Li Fan's attitude. I, Liu Xinnan, am a big sister in a city. The number of people chasing after me can line up all the way to the neighboring town. If you don't do it now, it'll be too late. Let me tell you, if you miss this village, you won't get another chance. I'm not a Japanese. I won't enter the village. Li Fan shook his head and said, so, you can't threaten me. Li Fan, we're business partners. Do you want me to be embarrassed? Liu Xinnan was anxious. You should have said so earlier. Li Fan clapped his hands. It's just pretending to be your boyfriend. It's not like I haven't helped you before. Last time, I beat him. Will it be the same this time? Same your sister. This time, it's my dad. If you want to beat up my dad, I'll fight it out with you. When Liu Xinnan talked about her father, there was a hint of gentleness in her eyes. My father has doted on me since I was young. Now that he's sick, it's time for me to be filial to him. Fan thought, if you don't go out and make trouble, your dad will pray to Buddha. Liu Xinnan, this girl. She's obviously a girl, but she doesn't look like a girl at all. She's an arrogant, narcissistic woman. To her, the word lady is just a fantasy. So, my dad is looking for a son-in-law. You fit the criteria. Please, I'm not going to be a son-in-law. Li Fan emphasized again, I have a name and I rely on my own hands and feet to make a living. Why would I want to be a son-in-law? But you ruined my marriage. Liu Xinnan stared at Li Fan with a pair of beautiful big eyes. You have to take responsibility. Fuck. Li Fan felt that he was wronged. You're the one who told me to beat him up, okay? I don't care. I only told you to beat him up. I didn't tell you to ruin our marriage. Liu Xinnan shrugged her shoulders and said shamelessly, in short, you have to take responsibility for what you've done. Otherwise, when you give birth to a child, you won't have an ass. Fuck me. Li Fan really had to give it to this Liu Xinnan. She's simply a female devil. She's out to squeeze out his remaining value. If your son doesn't become a Pishio, You have to take responsibility, my dear. Liu Xinnan said and forcefully ordered Li Fan, tomorrow night, I'll send a car to your house to pick you up. Remember to dress up nicely. You think I'm picking up a bride? More or less. I can send a betrothal gift. Liu Xinnan said, picked up her handbag, and stood up. Her pair of long legs were even more eye-catching. Then I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. With that, Liu Xinnan waved at Li Fan, turned around, and walked out of the shop with her pair of long legs. 2 bodyguards were waiting outside. They opened the door for Liu Xinnan and then opened the car door. Li Fan greedily looked at Liu Xinnan's perky but a few more times. This woman, sometimes, he felt that she was especially like a drug. This woman would have feelings for him. To be honest, Li Fan didn't quite believe it. She, Liu Xinnan, had been in the underworld for so many years. What kind of man hadn't she seen? Why would she be interested in a young boy? Li Fan had a big doubt in his mind. However, she had undoubtedly been trying to conquer him. This made Li Fan a little annoyed. Especially when she was going to pick him up tomorrow. Fuck, wouldn't that be waiting to fight with Murong Ying? And Murong Ying was a woman who stuck to the rules. Her rule was that she couldn't take the initiative to attack ordinary people. Liu Xinnan didn't know any martial arts, so Murong Ying definitely wouldn't use force on her. In this way, the one who would be at a disadvantage would be Murong Ying. Well, there was going to be a good show tomorrow. However, Liu Xinnan's butt was really beautiful. Women are the most difficult to deal with, aren't they? Fuck. Li Fan stood up and raised his fists. This was almost his subconscious reaction. Heartless Saber, Yu Shi, was dressed in black and sat opposite him. Yu Shi's dressing had always been the same. She was always wearing the black vest of the Brocade Clan Guard uniform with the golden edges. When did you come? This woman, why was she always appearing and disappearing like a ghost? I've been here for a while. Yu Shi gently raised the teacup with one finger, as if she was playing. It's just that you're too busy looking at her butt. Li Fan was very speechless. He couldn't refute what she said. At the end of the day, you're also an ordinary man. Yu Shi smiled. To think that I thought you were different. Your nature is still the same. This is called a man's nature. Li Fan crossed his arms and placed his feet on the sofa beside Yu Shi. Why did you come looking for me when I'm such a natural man? Have you thought it through and come to kill me? Why do you always think of others so badly? It's you guys who went too far. Li Fan was filled with anger when he thought about it. You actually attacked an ordinary woman. I will definitely take revenge. I didn't know about this. And I can't control what the commander-in-chief wants to do. Yu Shi shrugged. You've already pissed him off. He won't let you off. And as far as I know, you've not only offended the Brocade Clan Guard. Oh. What do you mean? The infamous Storm mercenaries have their eyes on you. Chapter 307. Is this the so-called good news doesn't go out, but bad news travels 1,000 miles? In just a few days, even Yu Shi of the Brock Uniform Guard knew about this. Your Brock Uniform Guard's intelligence network is really good, you even know about this? Of course, we've been around for hundreds of years, our intelligence network is very large. Yu Shi didn't deny this, otherwise, why do you think we can always find you in the vast sea of people? Then I'd rather your intelligence department not be so good. Li Fan curled his lips. The organization he hated the most was the Brock Uniform Guard, and he wanted to fight them to the end. In short, I don't want you to die. Yu Shi said very honestly, my feelings for you haven't faded yet. If you die, I'm afraid I'll remember you for the rest of my life. This is not the best choice, so before my feelings for you fade, you must live well. Damn, you're asking for too much. Li Fan pointed to the seat beside him. If you don't want me to die, then join my camp. This can't. Yu Shi directly refused. I was raised by the Brock Uniform Guard since I was young. It can be said that my life belongs to the Brock Uniform Guard. Even if I die, I can't betray the Brock Uniform Guard. You're too rigid. Li Fan began to work hard to poach people. I was born in the Brock Uniform Guard, but I don't have to die in the Brock Uniform Guard. Yu Shi, you're a human, you have your own thoughts, You're not a dog raised by the Brock Uniform Guard. I am a dog raised by the Brock Uniform Guard. Yushi said firmly, this life is for the Brock Uniform Guard. I will lead the soldiers until I die. Li Fan didn't know how to persuade her. It was very difficult to pry open a gap for a person like Yushi who had a strict view of the world. In her heart, she wanted to live and die with the Brock Uniform Guard, so it was useless to say anything. What's so good about the Brock Uniform Guard other than raising you? Seeing Yushi's firm attitude, Li Fan couldn't help but be a little angry. In order to deal with me, you can even kill an ordinary person. Is this kind of place really our guardian? In my opinion, the embroidered uniform guards are just a bunch of arrogant and selfish people. Li Fan, if you don't understand, I won't force you to. Yushi said in a low voice, one day, you'll understand just how important the embroidered uniform guard is. We don't see eye to eye, perhaps, but you still have to be careful in the near future. Once you're targeted by a storm, your fate will often be very miserable. Just a few mercenaries. I don't care about them. Li Fan's momentum was like a rainbow. If one comes, I'll beat one. If two come, I'll kill both. The storm is not as easy to deal with as you think. Yushi continued to remind Li Fan. They're like mad dogs. Once they set their eyes on someone, they won't stop until they're dead. According to their habits, every time before they took action, they would send someone undercover to the target side. Li Fan, you have to be careful. There's someone beside you. His storm spy. Ah, is that even possible? This made Li Fan shocked. There's a storm spy beside me? That's not possible. Everyone around me is pretty good. Which one of them is Storm's spy? Huang Lei? Guan Wenbao? Yang Kai? Impossible, absolutely impossible. This is their tradition. I snuck out today to remind you of this. Yushi took another look at Li Fan. There seemed to be some affection in her eyes. With your current relationship with the embroidered uniform guard, it's not easy for me to sneak a look at you. Li Fan, you have to live up to me. With that, Yushi stood up. She didn't say anything else. She didn't look at Li Fan anymore. She took a few steps back and jumped out of the window. Yushi's qigong was really good. Every time her feet landed on the ground, there was no sound at all. It was like a gust of wind. Sigh, Yushi doesn't look like a heartless knife at all. Li Fan couldn't help but mutter. Then who is the spy beside me? Maybe Yushi made a mistake. Maybe Storm hasn't sent a spy over yet. They should think that I'll be easy to deal with. Maybe they'll send a spy to get information about me now. I must be careful of the people around me. While Li Fan was thinking, he suddenly received a strange call. Li Fan? Who are you? The voice on the phone seemed familiar, but Li Fan couldn't remember who it was. You'll be in danger soon. Be careful. The voice had a hint of calmness. Especially, be careful of the people around you. With that, the phone was hung up. Fuck. Li Fan really wanted to curse. What the hell are they doing? Are they trying to come and go with me? Is it popular to take the mysterious route now? What the fuck? Li Fan couldn't be bothered to care about these things anymore. In short, he'll deal with it when it comes. Isn't it just a storm? Can it really set off a storm in City A? Li Fan went to find a place to practice. On the other side, a black shadow knelt in front of the commander. Commander, this subordinate has found out that heartless knife Yushi of the Blackguard is secretly contacting little tyrant Li Fan. The Black Shadow belonged to a special agent in the intelligence agency. These special agents' identities were very special. They were under the command of the commander alone. They were called Shadow Guards. I got it. The commander nodded and touched his smooth chin. He seemed to be thinking about something. After losing his fertility, he seemed to be much younger. His skin became smoother and more tender. He was obviously different from the uncle from before. There seemed to be some traces of rouge on his cheeks and lips. His other hand was controlling a few flying needles. Connected to a thread, he was currently embroidering a picture of a mandarin duck on a silk cloth. The commander's minor phaseless divine art seemed to have reached the level of a god. Those flying needles seemed to have come to life. They passed through the silk cloth by themselves, causing the mandarin duck on it to become clearer and clearer. Say, do you think little tyrant will like this picture of mine? The commander did not seem to put the shadow guard's reminder in his ears. Instead, he muttered, "He's such a man. Isn't the mandarin duck a little too delicate?" The shadow guard was a little afraid in his heart. He hurriedly said, "Commander, Yushi has been very close to Li Fan recently." "Oh, you're talking about Yushi." The commander seemed to have just regained his senses. He said faintly, "She's a person with a heart. However, there are some things that she shouldn't touch." "Commander, then what should we do?" "A naughty puppy needs to be reminded. Lock her up in the pavilion of sinners and casually whip her 100 times. If you whip her too much, her tender skin will be spoiled. It truly makes one's heart ache." "Yes, Commander." "Then how should we deal with Li Fan?" He. This sovereign has his own plans." Chapter 308. Going out again today? Murong Ying looked at Li Fan, who was wearing a black suit and tie, and could not help but frown. "What are you going to do? Sell insurance?" "No. I'm going out to have a meal with a friend." According to the agreement, Liu Xinnan would come to pick him up today. But before he went out, Li Fan was still caught by Murong Ying. He hurriedly explained, "Do you have to dress like a prostitute just to have a meal?" Murong Ying was not a fool. She would not be coaxed by Li Fan with just a few words. As the chief of the martial arts circle, she had traveled far and wide at a young age. She visited famous mountains and rivers, and set foot in the whole of China. Although she did not know much about the affairs between men and women, she was quite experienced in the pugilistic world. Especially when she married a cunning person like Li Fan. She really had to fight with him with her wits and courage. "What the fuck? How did you become a prostitute?" Li Fan said that this was not even as good as selling insurance. "I'm just dressed a bit more formally." "Oh, having a meal with a woman?" Murong Ying said indifferently. Like this, no one knew whether she was happy or angry, but she did not reveal it. "Yes." Li Fan felt that he could not hide it anymore, so he simply admitted it. "Is she beautiful?" "You must be joking." Li Fan immediately raised his arm and shouted, "In this world, except for you, I have not found a beautiful woman. Humph, don't think that you can coax me with a few words." Although Murong Ying said so, she could not hide the smile on the corner of her mouth. "I'm not coaxing you. These are all my thoughts." Li Fan patted his chest. "If you don't believe me, you can come and see my heart. Don't say those useless things. You are not allowed to go out today." Murong Ying gave Li Fan a grounded order. "Huh? Why?" Li Fan was a little surprised. Was he starting to restrict his personal freedom? "Murong will come over in 2 days, but I have to go to Mount Hua. So, for the next 2 days, help me keep Murong company at home." "Huh?" Li Fan almost peed his pants. What the hell? Asking him to stay and accompany Murong to make love? Could it be any more cruel? "Why are you going to Mount Hua?" "As the Alliance Master and the Master of the Murong clan, it is only natural for me to pay a visit to the affairs of the world of martial artists. I am the leader of the world of martial artists." Murong Ying glanced at Li Fan. "Why? Can't bear to part with me?" I was just casually asking." "What about Taizhu?" "Taizhu will stay, right?" "No, Taizhu will travel with me." Murong Ying's words made Li Fan fall into despair. Murong loved to be alone with him. She might as well kill him. She and Liu Xinnan were of the same nature. They were both little devils. Heavens, can't you just give me a quick death? Looking at the time, she should be here soon. Murong Ying looked up at the sunset outside the window. Wait for her at home. You are not allowed to go out. He would not wait for Murong to love him even if he was beaten to death. "No, I have an appointment with my friends." Liu Xinnan was his business partner. Li Fan did not need to make things awkward between them. It was not a big deal to pretend to be her boyfriend. Most importantly, if he did not help Liu Xinnan this time, he did not know what kind of trouble she would cause in the future. For the sake of his future, he had to hurry up with this matter. "You are not allowed to go." Murong Ying stopped him. "Murong Ying, Although you are my fiancé, you don't have to be so overbearing. Li Fan said unhappily. In ancient times, you are a fierce wife. Do you know that? Li Fan frowned deeply. But Murong Ying said calmly. I don't know if I was a fierce wife in ancient times. But in modern times, my behavior is only to prevent my man from having an affair. Fuck you, Li Fan said. If you leave me alone by Murong's side, it will be easier for her to have an affair, okay? Although Liu Xinnan often teased him, most of the time, it was just a verbal attack. That girl could not do it if she was serious. As for Murong's love, Li Fan could neither hit nor scold her. It was really annoying. You can go out if you want to, but you have to step over my dead body. Murong Ying blocked the door with her hands behind her back, showing her martial arts leader's style. This time, Li Fan was in a bit of a difficult situation. Although he was also at the peak of martial arts, compared to Murong Ying, he was still a long way behind. At the same time, in terms of martial arts attainments, the gap in strength, and the experience of fighting, Li Fan was far inferior. In the past, when Murong Ying fought with him, she only stopped when the time was right and let him have his way. The more powerful Li Fan trained, the more he realized the gap between him and Murong Ying. How about it? Do you want to compete? Murong Ying raised a hand and faced Li Fan. The matters of Jianghu should be settled in Jianghu. You and I are both children of Jianghu. Using force is the easiest way to solve problems. It's a civilized society now. How can we fight and kill every day? Li Fan said hurriedly, why don't we play rock paper scissors? Whoever wins is the boss. Murong Ying rolled her eyes. Aya. I didn't expect to see a fierce wife when I came here. At this time, a teasing voice came from outside the door. Li Fan looked over Murong Ying's shoulder and saw Liu Xinnan getting out of a Bentley and looking at the two of them with a smile. I'm not surprised at all. This woman's words were full of teasing, which made Murong Ying quite unhappy. Why is it you again? Miss Murong, we meet again. Your way of greeting is really unique. Liu Xinnan waved her hand and the Bentley drove away. Our family doesn't welcome you. Murong Ying said directly. Don't worry. I won't go in either. Liu Xinnan said, I'm here to pick up Li Fan and bring him to my house. Murong Ying's eyes fell on Li Fan, which was full of murderous aura. Dinner. We're just going to eat. Li Fan emphasized. He won't go with you. Murong Ying immediately rejected Liu Xinnan on behalf of Li Fan. What? Are you worried that I'll abduct your man? Liu Xinnan was not impatient. Instead, she said with a smile, I really didn't expect that the dignified chief of the Wulin world doesn't even have this little bit of self-confidence. That's right. Although your martial arts is powerful and admired by thousands of people in Jianghu, as a woman, you're a failure. Nonsense, how could I be a failure? Aren't you afraid that your man will be snatched? A confident woman won't be like that. Who's afraid? Murong Ying's nerves were provoked. We're a legitimate fiancé. He loves me to death in his heart. He won't be charmed by a witch like you. Li Fan felt bitter in his heart. Who the fuck loves you to death? How could these two women stop quarreling? One was the miss of a city and the other was the chief of the Wulin world. Now they were quarreling like shrews in front of the door. Chapter 309. Demonis. Don't try to sow discord between us. Murong Ying seemed to mind Liu Xinnan's words very much. She immediately retorted, our relationship is stronger than gold. You have no right to interfere. Don't hide it. You're afraid. You don't have any confidence. That's right, you're afraid. Liu Xinnan's words were like a dagger, stabbing Murong Ying's heart time and time again. Li Fan, go early and come back early. Murong Ying simply waved her hand and directly ordered, go and let this demonis see what true feelings are. All right. Li Fan did not know what these two shrews were fighting about. It was just a matter of having a meal. Did they have to make it seem like a world war? I'll try my best to come back early. Thinking that Murong loved that girl and would come, Li Fan could not help but want to sigh. He felt exhausted all over. If that girl came, his good days would come to an end. All right. Murong Ying agreed while Liu Xinnan smiled very happily. Li Fan, a few days ago it was your birthday. I was in Los Angeles and did not have time to come back. Now that I'm back, I've brought back your birthday present. Liu Xinnan's words shocked Murong Ying. Why? Don't you know your fiancé's birthday? There was a hint of joy in Liu Xinnan's eyes. This made Murong Ying feel a little unhappy, but she could not be picky. It seems like you don't value this marriage very much. Liu Xinnan said as she took out her phone and made a call. Bring the present over. With a phone call, the roar of an engine immediately came from the side of the road. Before Li Fan turned his head to look, a blue Mustang Shelby with white flowers stopped in front of him. The sturdy and muscular body seemed to be showing off its strength. What do you think? This is my gift to you. Liu Xinnan smiled at Li Fan. Do you like it? How should I put this? I like it, but I can't accept it. Li Fan declined her kindness. Why? Liu Xinnan was a little surprised. This kind of muscle car should be every man's favorite. Because I can't drive. Li Fan grinned, but Liu Xinnan said, if you don't know, you can learn. You're so smart, I'm sure you'll learn it quickly. You can keep the car for now. Once you learn how to drive it, you can drive it. Shelby, oh, what a sight. Whether it's an escort carriage or picking up girls, you'll be able to do it easily. Li Fan felt that Liu Xinnan was like a car seller at this moment, but he understood that Liu Xinnan's pride was too strong. She couldn't accept someone rejecting her gift. It's too expensive. I really can't accept it. Li Fan waved his hand. He still had some money in his company. Although Fu Fan's 1 million hadn't arrived yet, the previous 500,000 wasn't a small amount. He couldn't afford a Mustang Shelby, but he could afford a Mustang Performance Edition. But at Li Fan's age, he didn't have much interest in cars. Miss Liu, please respect yourself. My fiancé won't accept your gift. Murong Ying said with some pride, our family isn't lacking in money. Moreover, we martial artists never rely on cars. Qinggong is enough. No matter how good a means of transportation is, it can't compare to our peerless Qinggong. A car isn't just a means of transportation, Liu Xinnan pointed out, it's also a symbol of status. Our status is earned with our fists, not with material goods. Murong Ying had the glory of a martial artist, and so did Li Fan. You two don't quarrel. I really can't accept the car. Li Fan said to Liu Xinnan, first, I don't know how to drive. Second, I prefer to use Qinggong. If you want to give me a gift, that's fine. Just a small gift will do. I'm happy that you have this kind of heart. Humph. Liu Xinnan coldly snorted, so, you don't want this car today? Millimeter, no, let's hurry up and go. Li Fan looked at the time. It was getting late. Come and pick me up. Liu Xinnan's words were gloomy, as if she was unhappy. Murong Ying was secretly pleased. This woman said that she understood men, but she didn't understand Li Fan at all. Although Li Fan was a bit stingy, he wasn't someone that could be bribed with money. Seeing that Liu Xinnan was unhappy because of Li Fan, she was also happy. Missy, Mr. Li, please get in the car. The black Bentley drove over again and stopped in front of them. Get in the car, Liu Xinnan said as she got into the car. Li Fan didn't want to care about her missy temper. Others might pamper her, but she didn't. The two of them got into the car, and the Bentley started up slowly. Two strong bodyguards appeared in their line of sight, carrying two sledgehammers. They took turns smashing the Shelby, turning it into scrap metal in just a few hits. You're crazy. Li Fan turned his head and looked at Liu Xinnan as if she was crazy. Since you don't want it, it's trash. Liu Xinnan said straightforwardly, trash has no value. What a lunatic. Li Fan felt that Liu Xinnan was definitely not normal. No one has ever said that about me, not even you. Liu Xinnan looked at Li Fan angrily. I'm very, very unhappy now. Make me happy. Hey. Why? You're my boyfriend now. Making me happy is your sacred and duty-bound duty. When did I become your boyfriend? Just now. Liu Xinnan reminded Li Fan, don't forget, you said that you're very loyal. Today, you pretended to be my boyfriend to help me get rid of my dad. Fuck you. But you can't take the opportunity to trick me. Are you kidding me? Who asked you to be my boyfriend? God, who am I? I'm the dignified missy of a city, Liu Xinnan. Do you know how many men dream of being my boyfriend? But now you're saying this. Are you an idiot? Or are you gay? Yes, even if you're pretty and have a good family background, it doesn't mean that I have to like you. Who set this rule? Li Fan said his opinion. The girl I like must be very well behaved. Moreover, she must be the kind who likes to wear white dresses, have long hair, and be very pure and simple. Vulgar. Unbearably vulgar. Liu Xinnan had ear-length short hair and was very spirited. Moreover, she preferred to wear trousers and rarely wore dresses. That kind of woman has been extinct since the 1980s. There are still some. Li Fan thought that if Lin Yuhin was normal, she would be this kind of girl. It seemed that there was really no such pure girl around him. Therefore, Li Fan's heart had not yet felt the throbbing of love. You're tuning in to the Dreamy Chapters YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.